This is the Levels Network. I'm Justin Horo, joined by the Triple OG Willie Mason, the bro Lukey Stowe, and our man Big Red Tommy Symonds. Tommy, before we get to have a chat to you and talk RLPA stuff, got to start the podcast with the sad news of the passing of Cam Munster's old man. Devastated for Cam, and thoughts go to him and the entire family from Levels. Obviously, people know we've got a really strong relationship. He does the fortnightly pre-recorded shows with us. We've actually got a clip from Cam that we recorded on Thursday last week, and talking about, a decider, Origin, Papali, and all these great things that he was obviously excited about. So just take that into context when you see the clip. This was before the passing of his father. So, Mace, do you want to add anything on top of that, mate? Because I know you called me yesterday and you said you went and gave Arch a big hug.
Yeah, it rattled me a lot because obviously I lost my father when I was playing. And just to see, it just shocked me. And it really made me emotional straight away, because I was like, fuck, I've been through this before, but obviously at different stages in our lives, and I don't think it really matters, 17 or 26, 27-year-old man. To lose your father, to lose your mentor, to lose that person that you really rely on, it hurts, you know what I mean? And it's gonna hurt forever. You never get over it. I don't get over it. You just got to get along with life, but it's always in the back of your head. And just to see that happen from just nowhere, right? I just going through socials and stuff, and then Billy Slater's doing that interview, and I was instantly teared up. I was just like, fuck, it's bad. It sort of brings back a lot of memories. And then you just go, fuck, and then you just grab my son and give him a big hug and everything like that. It was just imagine what he's going through, imagine, and this is what, it's life and everything, and trying to put things in perspective, but you can't fucking tell him now, right? I was going to message him yesterday and it's too early. I'd rather say it on here and he'll hear it one day. And then after Origin or something like that, I'll get in touch with him, because I know I love money. He's a good kid. He's a great human, great for the game. But what he's going through now, you'd never wish that upon anyone. No. And scares me now what Queensland's going to do if they think they will get through that. They stick behind their own. He's their captain. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he'll play with his heart on his sleeve, and that just motivates everybody.
Seeing Billy talk about it gave me goosebumps.
Gives me chills as well.
He's confirmed he will be playing.
He'll play.
There's no right or wrong answer too.
No.
If he decided not to play,
and I went through a position like that when I was at the Mariners and Dad died, and I couldn't wait to play.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no other thought. Yeah. That was just a normal SG ball game under 17s, and compared to a decider. Wow. You know what I mean? You'll have that extra level that if you need to go to an Origin, he'll have that in the back.
You said on the way in when we were talking about it, how we're going to address it, and you're like, you obviously the proud blue represented. Yeah. You said you wouldn't mind if Queensland won this for money.
Queensland won. That's the level. That's the level of sadness, and just there's a lot of emotions going through, and if they do win it, I'm not going to be sitting here going,
You'll be pumped for him.
I'll be happy for him if they won the Origin. That's me, and I don't want him to win at all. But because money is such a great human, and no one deserves this, but life's not fair. And it's how you deal with it, and he's going to deal with it like a man, because he's a man. But he just needs to understand that his father saw him win premierships, win Origins, win Wally Lewis's, win all these awards, and become a father. So he's a lot to be proud of. So on the opposite end, myself and a lot of other people that father didn't see achieve anything that he's achieved, that burns me, but his father's seen him play and do all these things and become all this incredible man, so he should be proud of that, what he's done, but he just lost his father too early.
Do you want to add anything from the RLPA, Tommy, or are you okay with that?
Yeah, you guys covered it well, but obviously, sending our condolences. What a crazy time for Cam and his family. So, thinking of him, and I think you covered it well, Hoz. No matter, how he dealt with it or how he wanted to this next week to play out, there's no sort of right or wrong answer. But, tough time, and we're all thinking of him.
Yep. Yeah, the whole rugby league community is.
For sure.
Everyone.
All right. All right, let's get to the reason that you've come in, Tommy. You've got some past play initiatives. Me and Mace have been very vocal about this in the podcast, specifically Mace and his generation. Mate, I'll just get Tommy to explain what some of the new initiatives are, Mace, and then if you want to pop in and ask any questions around, how it helps out some of your ex-teammates and all that sort of stuff and past players, feel free to jump in. But just want to start off with some of the new information and what the initiatives are that the RLPA have now.
For sure. And obviously it's been good with Mason and yourself, Hoz, with you having a voice in this space and living it yourself, being post-footy. But, obviously we started our sort of big focus on past players the last couple of years at the RLPA, and we found that one of the big areas that helps people transition out or feel, positive post-footy is sort of their physical and mental health, right? There's other things in it around careers and connection to the game and so forth, but how well you're feeling physically and how battered you are after the game can sort of really impact you. So we put a lot of focus on, resources in trying to improve the medical and physical options for people post-career. Finally got a few new initiatives off the ground last week, which was really cool. There's also some stuff around annual health grants. So
just quickly before we move off that.
Yeah.
So if people have any questions around that, how do they reach out to you guys? Do they reach out to the NRL? How do they find out about information if they can qualify or what they can get helped out with?
Totally. So we'd say just always come through the RLPA as your first point of contact. We've obviously got our past player and transition team. At the moment with myself, Joey, Keegs and Morgs can sort of direct everyone exactly where they need to go, what's available, who's eligible, all that sort of stuff.
Can they just reach you on social media or something like that to begin with if they don't have like email information, phone call numbers or whatever, or for whatever reason just not as up to date and some of the older players, older generation, they don't even know how to, open up an email or be on YouTube. So can they just hit you up and...
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to be transparent, a lot of this stuff, like we said before, these are new initiatives. So you kind of got to have some sort of timeline or eligibility cut off at some stage.
Yep.
Okay. So just say Mark O'Mealy.
Yep.
6 months, probably 9 months ago, massive back surgery because of football, neck surgery because of football. He wasn't eligible for any of this because this wasn't passed through, was it? So it's probably bad timing. So this probably costs Ogre 65 grand.
Whoa.
Yeah, to get that done, and that hits, and a lot of our mates, I'm not even going to name names, need knee replacements, hip replacements, the whole 2,000. There's about probably 5 or 6 of my mates who need that. And I think this initiative will help out a lot. So just say if I need a knee replacement right now, what sort of help do I get from the RLPA?
Yeah, and so it's a really good point. You've got a lot of our old teammates who have gone through that sort of thing. So our kind of goal is to try and change that moving forward. What does that look like? There's a whole range of stuff where some people, we can sort of refer people to, as an example, we've started a new medical referral network.
Yep.
What that basically is a whole range of specialist doctors who have come on board and said, we're really keen to help out with past players. And a lot of them offered basically bulk build services or highly discounted. And you know what it's like with our former teammates. Some people just don't even know where to start. So they just go, I don't even know what to do, where to start. So I've got some really cool stuff with some doctors on this referral network, as well as a partnership with Loomis Imaging. So they're a radiology company, and they've got 150 centres around Australia. And again, they're going to give predominantly bulk build services for our past players, whoever we refer to that partnership. So again, people who have no idea where to even start, we can go, great, here's some specialists. Go actually find out what's going on. It's going to be most likely bulk build or highly discounted. Plus, if you need some scans, MRIs, radiology.
And if you've got absolutely no money, right? So some of these guys have fallen on hard times. A lot of guys have played in the late 90s and the 2000s and all that kind of stuff, and they'll look at that. And I know because I spoke to Nuno, I always speak to Nuno about all these, things. And we played in the same era, Nuno and I, right? And we're all busted up in our own sort of right, but not as bad as some of these guys who get told when they're 38 that they need a knee replacement.
Yeah.
Like Timo, like Sean Timmins just had 2 knee replacements. He's only 47 years old. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he knew that 10 years ago.
One really cool sort of new fund that we've basically nearly got open with the NRL I've worked on is called the Player Hardship Fund.
Yeah.
And so that's an initiative that would be open to any past player that falls on hard times. So as an example, say someone, had an emergency environmental situation, their house burns down, or, you see some pretty tough situations where people are mainly homeless or, like you said, maybe can't even afford to get some medical treatment or something like that. So there is one fund which is for particularly any past players who do fall on hard times. It's basically a new thing that came out of the last CBA. Funnily enough, the current players said, let's start this and how are we going to fund it? And they wanted to use the player fine money.
Yeah.
So like off-field fines and judiciary fines is the seed funding for this.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
As a way of like, I guess, trying to respect those who have come before us in some way.
Whoever dug the well before us, and we did that before, and even as the 2000s eras, and we know who dug the well before us, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, to get the game to where it is now. And then we did it in the 2010s to where the game is now, worth billions of dollars. So we all play our little part. The game don't owe anyone anything. That's my point of view, right? And the thing is, with a lot of these players who fall on hard times, the main problem is they don't swallow their pride, right? And they won't do it. They'll think the game owes them everything. They won't ask for help. I know a lot of guys like that where the game is willing to help you. You need to go out and outsource it, right? If you're falling on hard times or anything like injuries, like the game is there to help you, right? And especially now because the game is at its peak money-wise. And I just think a few of my mates in the same sort of circles are like, not falling on hard times, but a few little things that they can't afford, like a 20 grand, 30 grand sort of injury, like an operation. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
They got 4 kids. They got, like all this.
A lot of people couldn't afford something.
Yeah,
like that
exactly. So they just wait and get on this waiting list and their bodies go fucking deteriorate and everything like that. Start drinking, there's drugs, there's all this sort of shit. There's a lot of vices. So I think they need to understand that the RLPA is very strong at the moment. And you guys are all about player empowerment and helping everybody, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's been a massive focus. I think you said before around, looking after ourselves long term. There was another thing that we've looked into is a partnership with a private health insurance provider.
Yep.
So I know a lot of guys post footy, either don't continue their private health insurance or
I'm surprised at that.
Yeah,
because the percentage is like 10%.
Yeah, it's
private insurance.
There's a lot of people who don't. So again, we can't solve everything, but these types of things, we've got a new partnership with West Fund, who have basically given us and going to give everyone we refer, market leading rates, a discount on the policies, as well as like a sign up bonus.
That's awesome, Tommy.
Again, not everything's perfect, but it's something there to say, all right, if you're a past player, let's look after ourselves proactively. Start to take initiative to look after your health. So. If you're not with a private health insurance provider, here's a really good option for you that we've started. Proactive health grants. Again, if you're within this 10-year period, we can make a reimbursement towards things like private health insurance premiums or getting that,
That's great,
that
mate.
physio. So again, there's some really cool stuff I've got off the ground. It's probably been a long time coming because...
No, it's awesome because I think it's great. And I'm not one of these ex-players who sit there and whinge, but I know like the game is in good hands with you guys, right? And from 2018 onwards, then just saying 20 years, when we look back on this now and the game, the players will be retired because the game's at its fucking hardest now. They'll be looked after.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The future of the game is looked after. That's all I care about, right? And our generation, you just got to cop it. We're the ones, it is what it is, right? Fucking hell. You can't. You'd like to go back to 1908 and it was all taken care of, but it's not.
Yep.
The simple fact is that we've put things in place for the game to be getting better and better, looking after their ex-players.
Yep.
And that's all you can ask for.
Is it fair to say, Tommy, like, I guess with the messaging coming in is like you're not going to be able to solve everything, especially for some of the past players that Mace is talking about, but there are some options out there, and the big thing is just reaching out and trying to figure out like maybe even a little bit in different schemes that you've now set up in the initiatives that there is more support, but it's probably going to benefit now this generation a little bit more moving forward, and you probably won't have these issues now, what Mace is alluding to with some of the older players in 10 to 15
Plus
years.
the knowledge. This is the age of knowledge and education around health, how important it is. Our generation, showing this generation right now, like look how many players are in shape now, right? Are in shape. They're doing a lot of things. They're starting all these, they're doing health clubs, run clubs, everybody. Everybody that no one's really out of shape.
Yep.
Right? You did a HYROX.
Yeah, it's different,
on the weekend, everyone's doing some shit where just say when I was coming through and I saw a 45-year-old player who was retired, he wasn't looking like me.
There was multiple past players there. James
But there
Graham,
was, that's what I'm saying.
Tully Talanoa, Zeb Taya,
everything is turning.
Alex
right?
Glenn.
Everything's
It was
turning.
good to see the community. Louis Brown, Like that's cool to see.
But everything's turning. You know what I mean? Like you just said, if I'm just saying 98 and I saw a 45-year-old, you think that he was fucking 65. He didn't look like me. I'm 45 years old because I prioritise health, right?
Yeah. But even what you said before, Mace, like you've obviously been really vocal about the brain health research program that you've been a part of.
Yeah.
Even just saying that is encouraging everyone to go, all right, well, rather than just thinking about it, let's actually take some steps towards looking after ourselves. Well, you've been
I've been doing it ever since 2014 when I was playing, right? Yep. 2014, 2019, and then last year I did it. So every 5 years you got to get your brain scan. You go through this. It's very confronting, right? Because I think a lot of ex-players, they don't want to do it.
Yep.
Because the fact is, they've had a fucking shitload of fucking head knocks, right? I tell Oga, big bastard, always try and look after him. You got to go do that, mate.
You just recently had a screening, didn't you?
Yeah, last year.
Yeah, last year. Yeah.
I keep getting smarter. Way smarter than 2014. They said it's incredible.
But you also said it helped, even though it was a bit confronting, it actually helped ease the anxiety post.
No, it did.
Because you get some clarity, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent news. You sort of have a bit of a plan, like what do I need to do next?
They give you a plan. I go in there for the plan. If you're in there for 3 or 4 hours, MRI, everything like that. They do all these things. Have you done it before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very like, you're going, fuck it, you can't remember shit. And it's like, it's not that, right? It's not like you're losing your memory or anything like that. Short-term memory's fucked. Long-term, everyone has different sort of things. And he just gives you a bit of a plan.
Some
how to get better.
Yeah.
He goes, your brain is like, if you want fucking big arms, what do? You don't do leg curls. You do arm curls, don't you? You've got to train your brain. You can't just sit around and just talk about fucking footy all day. Be in different circles, learn different things, do different things, and be out of your comfort zone. And then your brain will start turning on. Like, just do little things like that. And I'm like, okay. And I sort of learned that from 2014. Because you fucking start worrying when you retire. You know what I mean? We've partied enough, we've drunk enough, we've done everything, and you're like, fucking hell, I might not have any brain cells left. But they grow. Your brain's neuroplasticity and you grow brain cells and all this sort of shit. So once I understood that, I was like, okay, you can get it back. You just got to work on it. Don't just sit there and just drink piss every single week and think you're going to get smarter.
Yeah. I love
and just look at your fucking highlights.
I think that's...
look at your YouTube highlights and just drink piss.
Lucky I don't
and
have highlights, so...
And sit there and fucking whinge about the game.
Yeah.
Stop fucking whinging.
It's funny you mentioned as well getting off the piss. In all seriousness, I think that's a bit of an education piece where because we've played in an era of...
fucking alcoholics.
Yeah, well, it's really common, right? But I think for brain health, there's a lot of research, at least we're aware of, which is it's not just your concussion history that impacts your brain. It's
for sure.
Your pain levels. Are you sleeping well? How are you eating? Like you said, are you drinking?
I've had 3 drinks this year, 3 decent cracks this year. That's the fucking least I've had for 20-something years.
Yeah,
3.
And that's going to have a way more positive impact.
Yeah, and I feel way more proactive. Had a crack in Perth. It was bit overboard. And then I think Magic Round had a bit of a dig then. Like a proper dig, which I count. No, I wouldn't count. I wouldn't, yeah. If it's 10 beers, I don't count it. But I don't drink, I don't go out anymore. I don't do it. 10 beers don't count. I don't drink beer anyway.
But it's right. It's like you said there too, Dragon, like, it's different now. It's awesome what the guys, not only with the initiatives, but they're different now. Like, we had a drinking culture. Like, there's no point in, not sugarcoating that was a part of, drink hard, play hard. That's the culture we grew up in. They're so much better at it now. Like, the way they sleep and diet and recovery and all that sort of stuff, so much better. But
particularly with brain health, I think that's a really important message that we're going to certainly try and push as well, is to try and take away just this feeling of being out of control with your brain health and knowing that there are other things you can do to look after your brain. Even if you've had some concussions or not, there are some positive things you can do to look after your brain. So getting off the piss is one good example of that.
Yeah. Yep. The drinking culture is nowhere near as we come through. It was crazy, like what we got. And it's like indoctrination, right? The guys from the 90s said, this is how it is. So you just listen to your OGs. And
you wanted to fit in.
Yeah, you just had to. Now it's just like, no, you don't have to.
It's cool not to drink. Yeah. It is. I reckon it is for a lot of the boys. I remember we lived it as well. We all played together.
It's just not like that. If they have a couple of beers, they need fucking 3 days in a wellness centre. We would just turn straight up the train and then you just have to do it. It's just the way it was. But now it's not. And I do that obviously with the Bulldogs. I'm like, what do you guys do? Like, I'm just interested in what you do. I'm not fucking condoning drinking or anything. I'm just like, what do you do? We just train, just go home.
Yeah.
And then just like after the games, we just, like if you can have a beer if you want, but it's not like, it ain't what it used to be. It ain't like you play on Friday. What are we doing tomorrow? When do we have to be back training Monday?
The game's
3 days in me.
too hard these
I've got
days.
3 days in me.
Yeah, it is.
Game's too
But
hard.
it's just not. They're just not built like that.
Yeah.
Right. Where like the game was hard when we were playing. Right. It was a different sort of hard. It's a lot more. It's a lot faster. But like physicalness and everything like that, and fear factor, and there's a lot of shit. You could get your head fucking taken off and punched off in the same game. It's not.
Shout out to Stevie Maddow. I just had a highlight on Big Georgie Burgess.
I never get tired
Ain't
of
no
seeing that.
fucking-
He hasn't
that
clean
good.
too, by the way. He hit him
Beautiful.
clean. He hit him on the ball and then it bounced up. I had a front row seat. I was looking like that.
They ain't no Stevie Maddow fucking trying. There ain't no Adrian Morley trying
Well,
to
they
take your
showed
head
the
off.
one with Dave Tyrrell as well during the
Dave
week.
Dave
was
was clean.
ridiculous.
You played in that
Yeah.
game too, didn't you, mate?
Yeah.
Oh, you were in that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sitting on the pine. I was like, ooh.
I was sitting there, ooh,
That was
I'm going to
outstanding.
retire.
That's good. Stevie Maddow.
That was a bit of a tangent, and we'll
Yeah.
bring it back in. Anything else that you would like to let everyone know about, especially the past players and what else is available right now that you think's important?
I think we've covered it well. Other than to say, we're really proud of, I guess, these initiatives, and we hope that everyone sort of leans into them and feels like there's something they can get out of it.
Can you tell the people that the brain scan and everything's for free? The NRL pay for that, don't you?
Yeah, so there's a
There's no.
that's a research program
Yeah.
which is fully funded for
Yeah.
players. We probably need another podcast to cover it, but we've also working on another thing with the NRL to come in the coming months around a sort of bigger and more improved health screening, which we'll look at as well, which we can happily give you guys some more info about.
Yep.
But really, it's just take things into your own hands. Here's some tools, some fun, some initiatives that people can tap into to really start looking after their health post footy. Because it's a brutal game, and people deserve to get looked after post career.
Well, I reckon you come back in at the end of the year when the season's
Yep.
done. That'll
get
be a
Clint
good
Newton
time.
on here.
Get
We'll never get him
brush
out.
Tommy then.
We'll never
Sorry,
get him
Tommy.
out. We'll never
Yeah,
get him
awful.
out. No,
Awful
you
chat.
stay.
We'll get you
You
knowing.
stay. No, we said get Clint
And you
Newton
know.
and Tommy
And you know.
Symonds.
There's only
And we'll talk some golf in that too, because the golf
it'll
days
go
in
for
the
too
end.
long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for that, mate. That was some really good information. You are the RLPA, and we have the RLPA Player of the Month for June. So all three of us will talk about the performances of ISAIYA KATOA, the Dolphins 5'8". He beat out Joseph Tarpanay and Gamat Shibasaki. He had 4 games in the month of June, 7 try assists. Really, I reckon we said this before when we were reading out the stats
12.
last week, Tommy. He probably had 12 try involvements.
Yep.
He just didn't have the last pass. 2 line breaks, 5 tackle breaks, and an average of 138 run meters.
That's
for a
what's
5'8".
scary.
Yeah, for a half 5'8". I think he's the half at the moment. Yeah, so tell your gang
Any.
to fix that up. It's halfback.
Halfback. You should know that, Hos.
But what about ISAIYA KATOA, mate?
Isn't he doing well? It's amazing. I love seeing it. And he's starting to get some raps, but they're so deserved. The thing I love about him as well, just having met him a few times, is just how level-headed he is.
He's the best.
Yeah. Like super respectful, very mature. He even was skipper for a couple of games recently, which shows,
Yep,
I
with
guess,
Felicia.
with the level of respect he's
Yeah.
got with the Dolphins.
It doesn't matter how good you are as a young kid. Like just say you could be a freak at 21-year-old, but to be given the captaincy,
21.
to have all the respect from the Kafusis and that who are like in their 30s, are like they'd have to go to those guys. Do you think he should deserve captain?
sure.
Yeah, Wolfie
Yes.
would have to go to the juice and go,
Do you think he deserves it?
You're out.
100%. He's the future of the game and he's the future of the Dolphins, right?
That's
And
a
he's
wrap.
and that's a massive rap for a 21-year-old kid, man.
Yeah.
I ran into him at the Levels golf game, which hopefully he comes this year. Again, he's just didn't drink, just played his golf and
Great
he's
fella.
very
Gun golf
humble.
too.
And he's lo and behold, he's good at golf.
On the
Fucking
field
hell.
though as well. How he's doing some stuff that I haven't seen since.
It's got to the point
doing
now, and we
stuff
said
that
this
used to be
like last
in the
week, Tommy,
30s.
was like we're trying to pump the brakes on him.
Yeah.
Because
Don't want to get
I
out.
felt like we went really hard, even glazing and just like we're texting each other in our WhatsApp
Nicky
group.
Glazing.
It's basically, unless someone really fucks up, Mace lets us know, or it's just glazing ISAIYA KATOA from another
It's hard
game.
not to. But
Yeah.
that game
It's hard.
against South, there was a couple of things where
It's a joke.
he put Cody Nicarima through for a try, and he basically found the gap himself and forced Cody to go through the gap and score.
Yeah, just hold the ball up that you have to break off your left, Cody.
He made a break, chucks it over his shoulder, and hammers up the middle without even looking.
Far out.
Yeah, he's doing crazy stuff. So
He deserves it. I don't think he listens to any of the noise anyway.
So.
No, he doesn't strike me as that guy.
No.
You know, some people say, "Oh, we don't hear anything," but then they hear everything. I reckon he has. You can just tell he's level-headed enough that he doesn't focus on it at all. I've got that vibe on him.
I'd say as well the player of the month votes. I'd have to check the stats, but I dare say he would have been a shoe in this month after the.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought it was, and moving forward for the season, Teddy's having an outstanding year for Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And I thought it was between him and Luke Metcalf for the season, but Izzy's starting to close in on Teddy now too.
Shame about Lukey too. He had
devastating. Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Appreciate it, boys.
Thank you.
Thanks
Made the trip all the way down to Goldie for us.
Drove down this morning.
Before we get you off, me and a couple of mates, Jimmy Bura and the skipper of the Manly Seagulls, were furious that you prioritised the Sydney Roosters Old Boys Day.
There was 2, wasn't there, yesterday?
Working class Bondi, mate. You've always been a proud Rooster, haven't you?
I have.
Junior there.
Equally so, I love I love Manly and the Golden Eagles game too.
We weren't spraying you at all, by the way.
I didn't cop any shit this week about missing the Golden Eagles Day yesterday. Although I did have a good day at the Chookies Old Boys.
Was that good?
It was good. Caught up with some fellas that I played with, which was, you know what it's like. It's always a good laugh.
I was
reminiscing.
I was calling the Roosters game. We had the pre-game there, so I got there nice and early. Just seen Dragon just like, fuck. He's walking around just everyone at Allianz and Big Red's back.
Yeah.
No, but seriously, this is not even a joke. I reckon the clubs should get together, figure it out. There's so many journeymen or people that played at multiple clubs. All 3 of us played at multiple clubs where it's like, figure it out and make sure it doesn't happen on the same weekend.
Clash,
yeah, I reckon that's just like the old boys, guys like Boxy who took care of us at the Golden Eagle should, try to figure out if there's a round like you're probably not going to get it perfect, but it would have been good to have you at the Golden Eagles yesterday.
How many games you played for
we
the
could
Eagles?
spray you to your face and not behind your back.
How many games you played for the Chooks and then the Eagles?
Eagles was about 4 years, 80? So yeah, about 70. Chooks, I spent a lot of time in the rehab ward, Mace, when you were there. I was injured a lot. Did spend about 4 years in first grade there. Yeah, but first year you were there, Mace, actually. Where were you yesterday for the Old Boys Day?
I invited all that shit.
I was with our little mate, Jake Friend. It was.
I know what they entail. It's a fucking joke. It's a mayhem.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think the Bulldogs even do an Old Boys Day.
Yeah.
Nights. I've been to a Knights Old Boys Day probably 5 years ago.
Yep.
That was fucking great. They do it good. I think they were one of the originators of the Old Boys Day.
I feel like they're the OGs.
Kurt Gidley and Bedsy that really drive that.
They got a really good crew there, the Knights.
Really good crew, yeah.
Did they do it on the last round or the last home game?
Yeah, last home game, yeah.
That works.
The couple of their old boys we just did the big trek with, Billy Peden, Adam Muir. Yeah. Obviously,
did you do that with those guys?
Yeah, the big trek the other week. It was unreal. We had a little RLPA crew as well.
We should do that one year, mate.
Yeah, from Sydney to Newey.
Yeah, it's harder than it sounds. It's just walking, but it takes its time.
No, it sounds hard.
Yeah,
it sounds hard. Yeah.
We're 140k, isn't it?
Yeah. And blisters, the old aches and pains. We had who joined us this year? We had Toddy Carney.
Yeah, same Toddy.
Wade Graham, Zane Tavano.
Yeah.
Big Z.
Karina Brown for the past NRLW players representing. So
any stoppages? Any stoppages? Or just roll straight through?
Nah, you stop.
Stop at the Twin Towers? The Twin Towers?
You're well looked after. You get a couple of nights staying overnight in a hotel.
You don't do it straight through?
150 k's, you'd be going 3 days straight, mate. No sleep.
Come on, man. Done that before. Done that before on a walk. I think I walked from Barcelona to fucking Perpignan.
That's all we're talking about the drinking culture before, weren't we, mate?
But sorry, tangent. But those Knights Old Boys legends, love getting around them boys.
Yeah,
Kurt Gidley's great at that. They do a good job. Billy Peden. Every club should do that. Every single club should be doing Old Boys Day. Just to represent the guys that have done it.
I was speaking to Jesse Sanalafe yesterday about it, and a big thing for him, this is his first one because he's just got back as well. And I think a big part of it is if you do get invited to it, you got to figure out who was your crew during that time and try. If you can wrangle 2 or 3 boys together, then that's because like. When you go to those sorts of things, you see some OGs and you're not familiar with everyone and you know they're not familiar with you, so it can be a little bit awkward. So if you organise it
from 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, you get a crew, 3 or 4 to go together. If it wasn't for Jimmy sort of, chasing it up throughout the week for me, I probably wouldn't have made the trip over. But I'm glad I did.
Yeah, that's exactly what it takes. Just a couple of familiar faces. Like, all right, okay, I'll come along, and you end up having a great time. A lot of the events that you boys have been to that we've done at the RLPA lately, obviously more recently retired, so you tend to know nearly everyone who's there. Whether you're having to hit a golfer out, the keep fit, keep connected sessions and so forth, everyone. So the old boys is obviously a bit different because there's people from different generations, but all you need is a few familiar faces and you go, okay, hang on, this is a great day.
Yeah. Thanks, mate.
Appreciate it. I love yous and leave yous.
Yep.
And we'll
safe trip on the way back to Goldie.
All right.
Okay, so this segment for this week is brought to you by Athelite. As I said at the start of the episode, we pre-recorded this with Money last week before the sad news of the passing of his father. So just some context before you see this clip. Money was talking about the return of Josh Papali'i to Origin and Gemat Shibasaki, and we're obviously all our thoughts, and we're devastated for what Money's gone through, but here was him chatting about the decider. Oh, yes, here we are for a very special edition brought to you by our partners at Athelite, and we're stoked for this one. We've got the Queensland captain on the eve of a decider. This is a huge get for not only Levels, but Athelite and all the listeners out there. Before we even get into it, Money, just really appreciate taking your time in a busy schedule heading into decider, mate. But how's everything going as a skipper? Your first ever decider as a skipper.
Yeah, look, it's an interesting one, big boy. I haven't really thought about if we do get the opportunity to hold the shield, what am I going to say? But yeah, look, like I said, that was a pretty special moment for me and my family. Game 2, sent it to the decider in Sydney, and backs against the wall, and it's going to be a tough task, but the boys are up for it, and then the preparations and everything we've been doing are pretty much tip-top at the moment.
All right, brother. Well, just nice and quickly, I know you've got enough on the line as it is, but I'm just letting you know, I've got to bet a friendly wager with the River Jordan from the Morning Shift show in New Zealand. He's on the Blues. I'm on you guys. The loser has to do a half marathon, so let's go, brother. I'm right behind you. It's not like you needed any more motivation for a decider, but there you go, mate. Hey, before we get into it, we've got... Pardon?
You'll eat it up anyway, even if you had to do the half marathon.
It doesn't matter. I'm not going to have to do it anyway. He's going to be doing the half marathon anyway, brother.
Exactly.
Hey, we've got a new system set up, and we announced this last week with Foz. So I want to announce 3 winners from last week's episode: Christian W, Aiden C, and Daniela P. Those 3 have won performance and recovery packs thanks to Athelite. Lukey, he will be putting a link up as we always do for the show. Maybe we'll be putting something here to direct you to the website. So all we need to do is, in 50 words or less, let us know the player or the team performance of the week. Athelite will select that, and they will let us know nice and early next week. So thank you to our partners at Athelite as per. Before we get into a couple of questions, I've got 2 for you, mate. I've got a question here, or this is just more of a statement from Craig Fordham, who's a Blues fan. Lads, our one from day one. Listen to the potty every week. I just jumped on YouTube for the first time so I could leave a comment. Absolutely loving the chats between Foz Scope with Foz and Money. You've managed to change the mindset of a lifelong Blues supporter, an anti-Queensland Storm fan, to now respecting and enjoying watching Munster and other Storm and Maroons players play. You've humanised blokes we only see on the telly, who we are quick to judge and criticise. It's opened up another level of enjoyment in the game. I watch every game, every round, and now don't get as grumpy when some teams, like the Storm, win, or various Queensland rep players do. Keep up the good work. So thank you to Craig, and also thank you to you, Money. And although he's probably still going for New South Wales on Wednesday, mate, feel like you've been able to switch a fan with some of these catch-ups that we've been doing.
Yeah, well, I might have to give you a little bit of your flowers there, Scapey boy, to be able to let me have some more fans. I haven't got a whole heap of fans, but yeah, look, I guess sometimes I do play football on a fine line, and some people like to think I'm a grub. Some people obviously don't. So just one of those things. But yeah, like I said, I play footy as hard as I can, but off the field, I feel like I'll give anyone the opportunity and the time. I feel like I'm a very nice person, and yeah, like I say, I get along with everyone off field. Obviously, sometimes, like I said, I'm a bit of a fine line when it comes on the field, but it means well, I'm just a competitive person, and I win at all costs. So sometimes it's not the best thing around obviously the rugby league community, but that's just how I am.
And well, it sounds like you got a big fan. Craig Fordham's a big fan of yours too, by the
Yeah,
way, mate.
well,
Speaking of just going hard on the field, mate.
Yeah.
No one's done it harder, and it's been a while since he's been in the arena. He's had a couple of years off. But just tell us about your thoughts being the skipper and looking at, before you run out of the tunnel, big Josh Papali'i in the team field on the weekend, mate. Oh, on Wednesday, sorry.
Yeah, it's huge. When I heard the news or heard whispers about big Papa being back in the squad, I was a bit shocked because I've loved playing with him every time I've had the opportunity for him to put the Queensland Maroons jersey on. And myself and him are probably the only ones left of that 2009 decider. Ches's not there. We obviously lost when Tedesco scored that last try with 2 minutes to go. So,
Yeah.
we haven't gone to foreign territory for a decider since probably 2019. So, I don't think Queensland's ever done or ever won a series losing the first game. So, in Sydney. So, yeah, look, it's going to be a tough one, but they're looking forward to it. And having him in the team just brings you so much more belief, and it might bring a little bit more fear into the New South Wales team. I think, no disrespect to our middle in the first 2 games, but and a guy like Josh, obviously so respected in the rugby league.
Yeah, that's the big one.
He's,
It's the respect level, right, Money?
yeah.
Like he's always done things the right way. He's played super hard. He's always he's been a loyal servant down in Canberra for so long. He's always got the job done for Queensland. And I think there's players that you play against over the years, and sometimes you want to find ways to hate players too, so you can get that extra motivation. I dare say there's not a player in the competition that hates Josh Papali'i and just fully respects him. So I think it's a great selection from Bill.
Huge selection. I'm just so glad that he come out of retirement. And I'm sure a lot of the guys that are in the Blues team from Samoa, I've got a lot of respect for him as well, playing with him. So, yeah, I know for sure that a lot of them probably won't run at him because I know they're not that silly. It's a bit like running in a brick wall sometimes, and he's put big hits on and, he just keeps going, and we're so lucky to have him in our team.
Yeah. All right, the last one. Speaking of storylines, one of the best journeyman storylines of all time. He's going to. Oh, I don't know exactly how it's going to line up, but if you stay like games 1 and 2, and Rob Toya stays on Latrell, then I feel like Gemat Shabasaki will be with you. Have you had much to do with Gemat over your time? I know he's been a bit of a journeyman up north in North Queensland and Broncos, and played a game for South. So have you had much to do with him before Origin camp, and how has he handled the first 4 or 5 days?
Yeah, the first time I met Sims was obviously first day of camp. Obviously, great respect from Paddy. Gave us a lot of confidence going into obviously this series. This game at camp, and so much highly respected from all the boys that have played with him at the Bronx. So, he's had a great journey. Well, it's been a crazy journey. He's still on a development contract, which is crazy to hear.
Train and trial deal.
Yeah, that's huge. Obviously, he'll get what he's worth hopefully in the next couple of years, but just shows the resilient. How hard he's worked to get back to where he was. And when we're talking to Harry at the start of camp, he reckons that he was the bee's knees back in the day, like when he was playing against him.
Okay.
So it just shows how talented he was. But I guess sometimes when you're so talented, like I've spoken to Jerome Hughes about it a fair bit, like he was such a talented kid and he just thought it was just going to come to him. He didn't work hard at things. So now looking at him, like Jim was exactly the same. He had to go overseas and play Japan rugby and then come back, play with the Black Hawks, and then got his opportunity with the Bronx, So pretty crazy story. I know he was at the Cows as well, but just to be able to play the way he's playing this year, and it just shows his form. And he's coming to camp very confident, and he's going to be outside me. So looking forward to that combination, and hopefully we can get it together.
Well, mate, I'm not going to keep you any further. You've taken enough time in a huge week out to sort of take the time and support the podcast, mate. So just want to wish you all the best. I don't think Lukey is on the other end. He's there behind the screen. He's a Blues dog. He's a Blues grub. But I'm supporting you, brother, all the way. Let's get the job done at the decider. And thanks again, mate. We'll speak in a couple of weeks.
I think the last time me and you did a potty, it was 2020, mate. So hopefully that's a good omen.
Hey, there we go. There we go. I like that energy.
Get
after it, brother.
For life.
Let's go.
See you, boys. See you, lads. Thank you.
Mate. Legend. All right, boys, before we get into our Red Bull OG and Young Bucks, want to give Red Bull a shout out. Thank you to everyone for over the weekend. And I want to give our OG a big shout out, Lukey Stowe.
Outstanding.
Mate, when we were doing the tutorials on the Thursday night before Friday, me and Mace were driving home going, Lukey's not going to complete this. We were worried, but you smashed through it, mate. So congratulations, and congratulations to everyone who competed in it. I really enjoyed it.
What an event.
It's a cool event.
A well-run event.
Yeah.
It's so good.
You've got thousands of people in there at a certain time. Just say yours is a 9:15 kickoff, and then there'll be one at 9. Just say
every 20 minutes, basically.
20 minutes, okay, 20 minutes. And then everything was cleared by the time you guys got there. Because obviously you guys were just doing the run, and I was there cheering you guys on. But like from the first thing, and then by the time you guys got around to the second thing, they were all gone to the next one, and then there was room for us to support you, and then so on and so on and so on for 8 events.
Yeah.
And then, it was outstanding.
Yeah, the energy, setup. Sorry, just before we get to you, even the setup for having Mace, mate, I could hear Mace's voice piercing through and it was loud. Yeah. There's music and there was people screaming and that, and I could just hear, "Come on, big boy, you're fucking killing it. You're doing well." And honestly, it helped me get through it because it was tough.
Because I knew where you were just about to land because I could see where. Shout out to Louis Brown.
Yeah.
Fucking animal, man. Animal. So he was a bit in front of the first couple. So like I knew where he would sit. So I'll be like, okay, if we sit right here, I think you boys would come in like in the middle of the pack.
Yep.
So we knew where I'd situate right there. So I'd try and give you a little bit of bit of encouragement because the big boy was struggling a little bit.
And you're keen to do it with us in December?
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah.
We'll go down to Melbourne.
We'll train a little bit for it, but like it's the 1K the run after that I've got to, because I don't usually run that much.
It's 65% run, basically.
Yeah, I think I could get through it. The disciplines won't really bother me that much.
Yeah. What did you feel like as someone who's trained for it? Like,
I reckon he had more in him.
Yeah, I had a little bit more juice. I anticipated, look, they were tough, the lunges, but because the exercises only last roughly, depending on how quickly you're doing, 2 to 4 minutes, depending on how you smash them through. Because Shawnee was struggling with the lactic acid for the runs and the kilometre runs, I was fully recovered after like a couple hundred
You've fully
meters.
got to get the running in your legs.
So I could.
That's what I felt.
That's
too.
That's it.
I could have trimmed 15 seconds off each run easy.
So I reckon, just say with the lunges, because I was seeing how many lunges per lap. It's probably about 12 to 13 max. So if you have in your head 13 lunges, you're at the end, swap.
Yeah,
So-
I heard you screaming that.
Yeah.
You go, you
I was
let me know.
counting. It's about 12. I said it's 12.
Mace is going, you got 12 efforts. You just got 12 efforts. And I'm like, in my head, I'm going, 4.
Yeah, and then if you're not there by 12, you're sort of about two or three.
Well,
off.
I got to 12 and I dropped it because I didn't make it.
That's what I mean. But
my lunges must have been shorter.
Because your lunges are short.
Yeah.
But when you saw Shawnee do it, he was flying and pounding through them. So he was doing he was averaging about 10.
Yeah.
And he was flying through a
He
lap.
smashed the lunges and the wall ball throws.
Yeah, he's a fucking animal like that.
Even like the
Look
amount
at
of
him.
volunteers that they have to get to, because there's like a referee on every station.
Yeah.
There's no
just
not
to enter.
dropping a knee.
Just to enter. Not even to judge you on your technique, just to enter. Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah, I'm keen to actually train and
It was good seeing a lot of people.
participating in this shit.
Yeah.
Jimmy Graham was there.
Jammer.
Jimmy
He did
by
all right
himself.
So I ran into
He's
Jammer.
a beast, mate.
I ran into Jammer yesterday at the game, and I said, "Oh, seen you running, big boy," because him and Latsy, they smoked us their time. So
109.
They all 104. Is Latsy pretty fit?
he did.
He must be.
Jammer did 119 by himself, solo.
Which is what you and Shawnee effectively did.
Yeah, we
117.
were 2 minutes quicker as a double. So he's so fit.
He's run. He was on the run. He's a good
runner.
He's a good runner, yeah. And all those other things. He just goes flat out everything.
Yeah. He's like he's done like me. He's done marathons before.
Yeah,
he does a city to surf.
He doesn't.
I think he's a closet trainer too.
The Hurt Locker. He loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. He's one of those sadistic humans.
Yeah.
He just
What they say, Melbourne?
Pardon?
They were mentioning Melbourne.
We're gonna go to
Melbourne
Melbourne.
in December.
I said I'll do the Melbourne one in December. Yeah, it goes for 4 days.
It gives us, while we're over on the Ashes tour too, by the way, it gives us something to
We'll
train
not be
for.
doing any fucking training there, but
We've got to do a couple of days.
we will do a couple, but not. It's freezing.
I was speaking
I'm
to
joking. It'll be in our hotel. We'd have to leave.
I was speaking to Mark Flanagan, who's I played for the Tigers.
Sorry, we will definitely be trained though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Shout out to Red Bull.
Shout out to Red Bull. Shout out to HYROX. Fuck. You know what I love about HYROX compared to the other CrossFit sort of stuff? CrossFit, you got to be near a gymnast, right, to do some of these exercises. This is just for the layman's, right? If you're doing HIIT classes and a few little run clubs and everything like that, and then you go, okay, well, I can row, I can do ski erg, I can lunge, I can do a wall ball. You can do all these exercises that you're doing once a week anyway. You just got to go up a couple of levels, or you don't even, or not,
or just cruise. Like
you just cruise. Like
I mean, like could have pushed way harder.
You had a fucking decent crack, right? Sometimes the sleds and shit. You're fucking 70 kilos, mate. There's a lot of weight on
60,
there.
65
and your old mate,
dripping wet.
Yeah, and imagine him trying to hit that on the sleds.
Wizard.
That's where you fell behind, but like everything else, but everyone can have a crack. Some of these guys are doing 4-minute Ks. Like, oh, that's
so you wonder, like, you go out on a weekend, you're like, where are the people these days? And then you go to an event like that where everyone's shredded out of their mind and healthy and fit. You're like, that's where everyone's gone.
It's awesome.
Everyone's gone to the gym these days. It's
like that's pretty much like an hour and 15 minutes, just fucking full on HIIT class.
Yeah, it's a big cardio session.
Yeah, big massive HIIT class with like
you're right, and it's definitely attainable to more the average person than.
That's why people are doing it. That's why you got participation. I think they had 600,000 last year, 1.1 million this year.
Do you know what my comparison was? So just say like in terms of like cardio exercises, it's like if you're trying to run and you want to do the Sydney Marathon. That's a whole different level of preparation, but everyone can probably do a city to surf.
Correct.
So I reckon HYROX is the comparison for like CrossFit. Fuck, you got to proper rip in if you want to do a CrossFit challenge. Most people can do a HYROX.
Yeah, and that's why, hence the growth of it and how quick it is,
and
right?
Be huge
because people can row 1,000 meters. Come on, and if you do doubles. You can
got 500 in you.
You got 500 of the best in you. You got the lunges and everything. Some people that's not their strength, but you can get through it.
Well, it's like at the start of the year. Remember, we went Red Bull tennis and we had Joanna with us. She's like number 2, 3 in the world at HYROX.
If you're a good runner and you're strong, you can fly into that.
Yeah.
Like even like Louis Brown partners, and he did 104, and I'm like,
and did no prep,
and didn't care, no prep, and he doesn't even do lunges,
but he's a gun runner.
Yeah, but like I'm like, if he train, I said, you train for that shit, you'll be under an hour.
Yeah,
and I think that's like the record. It's like 54 minutes.
52.
Maybe even like 49 potentially.
He'd be down there with the pros, but that's your prototype, the Louis Brown.
Sure.
But Louis Brown his legs are fucked, right? Yeah. If his legs were like proper, like if he.
Apparently, at the end on the wall ball throws the saying, "Get low," and he goes, "I don't have any cartilage in my knee. I can't."
Yeah.
So,
I was giving the chick a little spray as well.
Yep. Shout out to Red Bull.
No, that was 90.
It's fucking 90.
It's 90 in my
That's
head.
what I'll be scared of. Just get out of my fucking way.
Anyway,
who is your OG bull of this week, Mace?
OG bull of the week. There was a lot of players that would have been if they played 100 games. I love Willison. I loved him. I left him out. I talked to him on the weekend too. I left him a fucking message. I'm like, remember those words I had to you in Vegas? I said, I told you you'd be a fucking beast. I said, no one can handle you, mate. Once you realise that you're 6'6", 118, ripped, fucking footwork, animal, no one's fucking with you, kid. No one. Anyway, I just left a long message. Love you. Love watching you play at BIP. Then I got a message back and we just started going back and forth. I said, good. It's good to see the growth going like that. I said, you play for Queensland, Australia. I said, if you played like this at the start of the year, you'd be in the Queensland team. Easily. Him, what are the young buck that was killing it?
Don't worry about young bucks.
I don't know. I just had a few plays.
I'm trying to take all my nominations.
I couldn't get the. I was like, who was old enough to get the OG? And I went,
do you know why?
Tom. Yeah,
it's short and weak with Origin players.
Short and weak. There was a lot of like
so a lot of young players stepped up.
Yeah, but then I went, Tommy Turbo.
Yeah.
I said, what the fuck is that? He's near unstoppable near the line. If they can get their shit to get that, I'm not going to say they're going to make a run, right? If they had their middles, they could make a run.
Yep.
Decent middles, but Takeaho's doing his job. But a little bit of the ball at the right time, just like it was Origin 2021, you're not stopping me. I don't care who you are. You're so big and strong. If you can get him a little bit of early ball one-on-one, 5, 6, 7 meters out, he can bet you, get you on the inside, get you on the outside, got a good flick, scored a couple of tries. He was outstanding yesterday.
Credit to him for not only just the playing part of it, but like buying into it and actually, like you could see he's clearly frustrated. And we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Yeah. He hasn't shown any of that frustration on the field. He's gone out there and played. It started a little bit slow against the Tigers. It got really good in the second half, and then he's continued it into this week.
He's just a footballer. You can just put him anywhere, and it probably would take him a couple of weeks to like fully get over it. And I think he's probably nearly over it.
Well,
he's like nearly over the fact that, okay, I'm not playing fullback. I'm right side centre. Figure it out. Get me the ball in the right place, and I'll do the business. And he's got to be thinking longevity. I don't have to do all this running. Everything I'm getting, I'm nearly like flat out. You know, like some of the runs, I said, fuck, that looked like 2021 turbo.
Well, watching him, and 2 weeks in a row now, I've been at 4 Pines, one corner, and then having the old boys game there yesterday. He's not hobbling at all.
No, not at all.
I'm watching him closely to see what the body's like, and he's moving so much more freer. And because you got Lehigh and Gaz is doing a good job, and Sabi, and even when Tommy Talau come on, they're doing all that tough yardage carries now that you keep him out of that stuff. Yeah. And then when it comes to good ball, he scored a couple. He set up a couple as well. And he shifted from the right and got onto the left and come up with that nice try for Gaz. Yeah. Credit to him.
It's very strange having a right side centre. Like Tony's a great right side centre, so is Critter, but like they don't get much ball.
Yeah.
It's usually the left side because they love frying those right to lefts. But like if you've got a Brooksy in that, they can and DC, they can get that ball to you. Lehigh's got that skill set as well, so he can get him one-on-ones and like that's all you want him, and he'll do that for you.
All right, you mentioned my young buck, Scope's Red Bull young buck for this week, and my young buck is Mr. Stand In on Business.
Yeah.
That's his Instagram handle.
It was hard to find his fucking his Instagram. I was like, what the fuck is this? Stand on business. I'm like, okay, yeah, I like it.
He was about that business on Friday night, or was it Thursday or Friday? Friday night. Yeah. Xavier Willison, 22 years old, 46 games of NRL. I think he's got the most upside of any young front rower in the game. And I started just thinking about the legitimacy of the Broncos this year, and they've still got a bit of work to do. They've got to get into the top 4. And I looked at all the premiership winning teams. Now, Penrith are a little bit of an outlier in the last couple of years because, when you win 4 in a row, it's the culture. It's like, they just know how to win. And not to say they haven't had impact players come off the bench, but if you think about it at the start of the run, Spencer stands out. That second wave coming off the bench, just having that, like I said, that second wave. Yeah. Melbourne had it with Nas and even Cheese to a degree, where you got someone who can just cause havoc off the bench. And even looking at the Roosters in 18-19, they had Siwa in there last year and Zane Tedavano, super underrated for a lot of people.
Can I say something about Zane Tedavano?
Yeah.
He was at Newcastle when I was there, played 3 years with him. Great kid, loved him. Went through a bit of drama around about 2015-16, got picked up by the Roosters and then went to Penrith. Zero gives him the biggest rap for changing the culture of that whole club.
Oh, wow.
That's how much they look at him. Like when Big Z got over there, he pushed the Spencers, he pushed the Fisher Harrises, Leotas and everything like that to get to that next level.
So was he Penrith before Roosters? No, he was after the Roosters. Yeah.
He played in that first grand final when they won.
Yep.
And then, or when they lost maybe.
They lost.
Yeah, so he won a couple at the Roosters.
Yep, 18-19.
Yeah, but then remember he didn't get picked in that last one because Jake Friend come back late and they had to get rid of one of those benchies and Zane was one of them.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and he played all year and he was playing. It was awful. But it's Jake Friend. He deserved it. Yeah. Anyway, so then he went over to Penrith and changed the whole culture. That's coming from Ciro.
Wow.
The way that he trained. Because like when he was at Newcastle, he had old blokes like myself, Jeremy Smith, Bo Scott, all these old heads, Cade Snowden, and he was a young kid, right? And he just learnt the way to fucking train hard, all that sort of stuff, and like be super aggressive in everything. And he just took him a while to get that. And then when he went to the Roosters, he got it. Then he took it to Penrith, and he got a couple of New Zealand caps and like all that sort of stuff, and a few premierships. Great, and a great human. I fucking love Z.
Yep. And back to like the second waves of those players and what Zane did and Spencer and Nas. If the Broncos are legit, if they're going to make any noise in the finals and, they can get into the top 4 and probably at the expense of potentially the Warriors just with all the injuries that they've got at the moment, he could be the difference, mate. So he had 20 carries for 200 metres, 83 post-contact. Cool. I love those numbers, but I love 43 tackles. Because you talk so much about, young Polynesian kids specifically who are hitting the grade, and a big part of it is, you can. All of them can play 20 minutes. Can you, if required, when big dogs are missing?
How long do you play?
60, 65. Ooh. I think he played about 60 minutes. He had a good stint.
Beautiful.
I'll get that up now and just confirm. But it felt like 60 minutes anyway.
Tough meters too.
Are you looking for it, Lukey?
No.
Okay. All right, I'll do it. Just get up.
Very tough meters too. It wasn't like just he had kick off.
Mate, it was hard yakka at the start. Bulldogs were dominating. We'll get to the game in a little bit. But they were dominating at the start, and in 68 minutes, mate.
Yeah, that's massive.
You called for it in there. Yeah. Like if there's any way the Broncos can win, it's going to be Xavier Willison.
And that's the thing about like Payne Haas is a little bit busted up at the moment. A little bit busted up. The quad, the back, a few little niggles coming here and there. If he can miss a couple of games, Payne, and get his body right for the run home,
or
after
even an early shower, Mace. So Payne starting
I think Payne is in that position now where I've heard that he's fucking nearly in danger for Origin. Still, right? So if you can go Payne, you can have fucking 2 weeks rest and you do what you're doing now. I don't think you really lose that much, right? They're going to keep winning. I don't think they're going to lose that much. Carrigan himself, but you've got to give these guys a rest, mate.
That's a huge rap for Xavier then to say.
I think he can do the job.
Yeah.
Now only because
that effort?
Mr. Stand on business, standing on business.
He's about that life.
You know what I mean? Like now, I think he goes, okay, I've got the confidence now. I can get these meters. I can play these minutes. He's playing against the Dogs who fucking absolutely went at him. You know what I mean? They play a high-speed grind game and they keep it in, and he played that many minutes. He only got a 12-minute break. Come on, man. Like, that's Payne Haas numbers.
It is.
Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, if you're the coach, if you're Madge, which I think Madge don't give a fuck. I know where he is. He'll probably just give – Payne has to have 2 weeks off. You've got to give him – if you want to make a decent run into the finals and really press it and get Payne, you've got to give him a rest. Origin bangs it up, man.
That's why my expectations are just what Madge from an outside looking is it might not be a rest. It might just be an early shower in a game. He gets hopefully they can play a game where they're travelling and he only plays 40, 50 minutes compared to 70 like he does. All right, those are our nominations for this week. It was a shortened round of NRL, obviously, because State of Origin is on.
Yep.
So let's get to our predictions, and we will start off with the first try scorer. For New South Wales, you are going with Gus Bus.
The Gus. I think the Gus has played outstanding in the last 2 games.
Yeah, he has.
He's been very close to scoring tries. He's always thereabouts. He runs really good decoys.
He got the try off the kick off Jerome, so he did score in the last game.
He can either go through a kick. You got to really pay attention to him because he runs really good lines. He's got a really good combination with Luai. It's either a kick, short ball, runs a good decoy, backing up on the middle, something like that. So, like, usually your left side back row is pretty close to scoring tries mostly. Or it's going to be on his side, somewhere on that left side, I think.
That's the edge they got to get to.
That's the edge. And I just think maybe you might catch Shibasaki sliding out. You might catch...
Shibasaki's on the opposite side.
So you got Toya. Yeah, so you got young Toya there.
Yeah.
And then you got, is it Dearden?
Dearden on the right, yeah. So, Dearden on the right, Money on the left.
Good
for
defender.
Shibasaki.
Hopefully catch him slipping out. And I think, Angus, I think he's all right. Like, I think he'll do a job, but like to get first try score, everyone loves that.
$21 for Angus Crichton, first try scorer, $4 anytime, which is exactly the same price as we've got similar prices all the way down.
Look at you winning.
I've gone Gemet Shibasaki. I want anything in and around Money. I think Money's in for a huge game. Obviously, we talked about what he's gone through at the start of the episode. I think the state, I think the team, they just rally around Money, and I think he's in for a huge game. And what a great story with Shibasaki as well, like the ultimate journeyman story. Yeah. And he could even imagine if he's able to score a try on Origin debut in a decider with the story that he's had. So it's more of a the storyline for me with Gemat that I'm on him, rather than tactically trying to find something around it, because it's going to be very hard to score in Origins, as we know.
I think it'd be like just going down that side and boom, long ball, and maybe back on the inside, just backing up or something, or off a kick.
He scored about 12 tries this year. He runs a great line too.
If you've got to pay attention to him, you've got to pay attention. You cannot. And he's going against
Critter. critter. So that's going to be problematic. But
you can take he's a good defensive player.
Yeah, you never know. You might little bounce of the ball.
You never know in Origin. That's the thing. It's so hard to get fucking first try scorer. I'm just trying to plan out in my head like someone slides out, Luai playing short, like digging into the line and slightly goes out because he sees Edwards out the back and like fucking little things like that. You just got to look at the cues.
You can play out so many scenarios.
It's got to be a really bad defensive read for you to score because everyone's so fucking on point. That's why it's so hard. It's like it could be a deflection, boom, 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 Dylan Edwards.
Well, you think this is going to be a hard game and your margin reflects that. Yeah. We have the exact same score. I'd picked mine too before you'd sent yours in as well. Yeah. Let's start off. Well, we've got the same scoreline, but opposite ways. You've got New South Wales winning 22-18 with a margin of 1-12 for the New South Wales Blues at $3.20 with the tab. It's going to be a close one.
I had it 22-10. Then I thought, so if it is 22-10, I'm going to kick myself. Then I was at 22-18 because I think Queensland's got at least 3 tries in them, 3 or 4, maybe miss a couple of conversions here and there. I just think we've got 4 tries. Hopefully it's a good track.
I think it's going to be a really competitive game.
Yeah, it's just going to be down to the fucking wire.
Yeah,
it's very evenly matched, and I know that I hear rumours that Toto and Payne Haas are in fucking grave danger. If one of those miss, I know Carraz could be a perfect fit for Toto, but like he ain't no Brian Toto.
Yep.
Still, like the amount of meters he's got, but like Toto's not a hamstring injury, is it? It's a knee. It's structural.
Yeah, but he's been dealing with it for apparently like almost a year now.
Yeah,
It's
so I think I'd rather a structural injury. Than a
soft
hamstring.
tissue for sure.
Soft tissue will just like go, you're off.
Yeah.
Where he's going to have to deal with the pain, and I think he can.
Yeah.
But Payne Haas is a back problem where it could tighten up the whole thing into the quad tear, hamstring tear, where I'm more worried about Payne Haas.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not as bad as the rumours are suggesting, but I'm fucking worried about those two. If Payne Haas is out,
it'd be huge if one of those two were out.
Payne Haas is out. What do we do?
Lindsay Smith.
No one compares.
No. Huge drop off for anyone who would be named after Payne. Yep. I've gone 22-18 as well for a margin of 1-12 for $4.80 with the tab. I think this is going to be. I feel like it's been an underwhelming series so far.
It has been, hasn't it? Same as last year. And then the game 3 just knocked it. We always seem, sorry to cut in. We always seem when Origin is going shit or whatever, we'll get you game 3 and it'll just knock your socks off. Or we'll give you a grand final that'll blow your fucking head off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always seem, rugby league always seems to come up with something.
Well, you know what? And we've been very critical of the refereeing, and I don't think it's going to be a factor. And I don't think, because it was like we talked about how beneficial he was for New South Wales in game 1, and then it felt like he flipped the script for game 2. With all the pressure on Ashley Klein going in this game, I reckon it's going to be the players will decide this one for sure.
The whole thing is just get it to the. V'landys would have went, just get it to the decider, and then shut up.
We're here.
And then
I think it's going to be a good one.
And then ref equally, so the 50-50s and all that sort of shit. Don't make it 8-0. Make sure everyone gets a good crack at it, and then best man wins.
So what about this? All right, me and you've got Angus Crichton. Well, you've got Crichton. I've got Shibasaki. $21 both for first try scorer. $4 both for any time. We've both got the exact same margin, right? And we've both got the same price for our player of the match. Jesus. You're hoping he plays. The back pulls up okay, and you've gone with Payne Haas. For both, let's just get straight into it, because both of our player of the matches we expect to win the Wally Lewis medal. Payne Haas got player of the match in game 1. Cam Munster got it in game 2. And we've both got them.
It's going to come back to this game.
Depending on who wins. And so why do you think Payne's going to be the man for New South Wales?
Obviously, I think he's a selfless player. And if he does take the field, he's going to be, 80, 90%. And he'll put everything, front load everything into this game, try and get us overboard, because he knows he's our guy. He's our guy. There's no one else that can do damage on Queensland like Payne Haas. If you're Queensland's forward pack, Payne Haas is out, you're like, let's go. Paddy Carrigan, you got Lindsay Collins, you got fucking Tino. They're going to go, no one's really scaring us now. Payne Haas still fucking, he makes you accountable. You got to fucking put your head on him. So I think Payne Haas. I think he plays those minutes where it counts. He starts the game. He can probably play the first 40, have a little bit of a break in the second half, play the back end. So he's going to get out there for like 60, 70 minutes, and he's going to get you those 200 meters. He's going to get you a couple of those runs. Could be really, really dynamic through the middle, and you don't know what you can get from Payne Haas, especially in a position like this where it's a fucking decider, and it's all in.
So for player of the match with the tab, Payne Haas is $9, and because he got player of the match in game 1, his Wally Lewis medal winner odds are a lot shorter at $4. So he doesn't necessarily have to win player of the match to win the Wally Lewis medal as well, because he was so good in both game 1 and game 2. So even if someone else gets it, for player of the match, he's still a huge chance to get the Wally Lewis medal. And so is my man Cam Munster. Like I said, I keep referring to it. We talked about it at the start of the episode. I was on money regardless, of the situation. I was sort of kicking myself in game 2 that I didn't have him in that game as well, just because captaincy, that was a huge decision that Billy made to go and drop DCE completely out of the team. And then he got the skipper next to his name, and I always just knew he's a big game player. Matty Johns said recently...
He's always been the skipper without being the skipper.
Yeah, you still could have that leadership even if you don't have the C next to your name. Matty Johns said he had an argument for it, chatting to Cooper Cronk a couple of weeks ago, and argued Money is top 10 influential Origin players of all time, because in comparison to obviously that great team that they had at Queensland, it's almost... even though we know they're all great players, don't get me wrong, but because they were so great together at the same time, when you think about what Money's been able to do 100%. In more of a 50-50 coin flip scenario with Queensland, and even going back to the one that stands out is obviously 2020 when he won the Wally Lewis medal with the worst Queensland team of all time. So
shout out to Matty and Cronk. That's a good show.
Yeah, it is.
That's where they should have Cooper Cronk mostly, is breaking games down with Matty.
Yeah, he does every Monday.
Yeah, I know, but he shouldn't be fucking commentating that much. Like Cronk looks, I think he's way better in that situation where he's like doing the X's and O's and showing everybody at home what that brain fucking is thinking about. Like him doing commentary, like it doesn't suit him. He can't really break games down. I'd rather see him do those shows more often.
Oh,
I love it. I love how he does that.
Yeah, he does a lot of the pre-game stuff for the Super Saturday and Sunday tickets. Really good.
They really need to utilise him a lot more because I don't think he's a commentator.
So back to money.
Love you, Coops.
Love Coops. Little backhanded compliment that I suppose.
Not the only one.
Cam Munster, $9 for player of the match, like we said with Payne Haas, and because he had the Game 2 heroics and player of the match in Game 2, he doesn't necessarily need to win player of the match as well to win the Wally Lewis medal, his second Wally Lewis medal at $5. So for a number of reasons, just rooting for money in this one. And
I think a lot of people are. As I said before, like if Queensland win and money gets all these awards, and I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the game on the weekend. The Broncos 22 defeated the Bulldogs 18.
Sorry, can we get to one more thing? Remember the Roy Keane thing?
Yeah.
Some of the whinging fuckers on that page, I had to look at the comments.
Yeah.
And I was like, can you, obviously it was 20 years ago, right? And I'm summarising what happened. And some of these fuckwits online are just going, this didn't happen, this. I said, mate, I don't know the fucking, was it on that day or was it a week after or was it in a media conference?
I didn't see it in the comments.
Who the fuck cares? It's exactly what happened. They're just trying to dive in who doesn't like league? Shut the fuck up.
No, he does. Roy Keane does.
I know he does. But the people just going, he hates league, he's from I was like, oh my God.
It got picked up on all the Man United blogs in the UK.
Yeah, it got picked up and they were just whinging about, these vlogs don't know. I said, mate, I was there to train. I don't know if it was there on that day, but I know it was 2005 when he got sacked. I said, fill us in, you fucking geniuses. Do you know what I mean? I was at training and the next minute he gets sacked.
Yeah.
I don't know what else would happen. I really don't give a fuck that much either.
Well, I didn't even see it, so I don't. I didn't see it.
Get off our page and fucking follow something else. God.
That's the algorithm these days. No one's following you. Everyone's just getting anything that's getting good momentum. It's just getting put in front of everyone.
Anything about rugby league, all the dates or anything like that you didn't know. You don't know the dates that the Australian team were there. Do you know what I mean? Do you know the dates? Do you know what happened? It was that fucking date.
Yeah.
Stupid pricks. Fuck off.
All right, let's get to the Broncos 22 defeating the Bulldogs 18. We pride ourselves, Mace, on holding ourselves accountable. So if we have a bad take, we take our licks for it, right?
Yep.
All the chat, and it was from multiple sources during the time that they were losing about the Broncos training too hard in the preseason and all this shit around Madge. Where is it now? The Broncos are coming.
Sorry, 6 weeks ago they were like, it was done.
Yeah.
Done.
Falling off the cliff. And that's the nature of where this competition's at the moment. But, you know, when you do sort of, and we were adamant, right, during that period, like it's going to pay him back. Like, you know, hard work pays off in this day and age, and there's no such thing as training too hard. And you use the example of what the Bulldogs have been able to do in the last couple of years. Oops.
Was that a fire alarm?
Yeah, that's a fire alarm.
Shut up, really?
What perfect timing for a fire alarm when we're talking about Madge potentially getting fired 5 weeks ago. Yeah, but and look, without pointing fingers, all I'm saying is when you have a strong takes and you go after, you know,
The media
coaches and all that sort of stuff, you got to be able to take your licks, and you got to admit when it's starting to pay him back. Because I reckon in the back end of that game, when everything was going wrong, and don't get me wrong, we'll get to the Bulldogs in a bit, and they helped out with some really unforced, sloppy errors. It was their conditioning that got them home. They, you know, the fitness levels for the Broncos. I don't think the fitness levels of the Broncos are able to, you know, get a victory against a Bulldogs team like that last year. So credit to Madge and credit to all the players. Great performance.
He copped his licks, and he knew what he had there. And we said at the start, I don't think they're ever going to look the same until they get Ezra Mann back, until they start getting everybody back and some continuity going, and Walsh back and all this sort of shit. And they still didn't have that in this game, right? Walsh out the back, and he's going to get it even better because he's going to have a week off, right? His knee's going to get better. The run that they're going to have the back end of this after Origin. It's going to be fucking dangerous.
They're a dangerous
Very dangerous. As long as they can get Carrigan and Payne Haas through. Shibasaki all right. They've got the bye after Origin.
Yeah.
So that's 2 games off for Walsh.
Yeah.
So he can really rehab his leg
and
get back. And then they go, all right, let's make a fucking run. We've got what? Let's say 6, 7 games to go. Let's fucking go.
Even though he's not in the 17, just being back and around camp for Walshy will be good for his confidence.
Yeah.
Not like he needs confidence.
But he needs to. He's a young kid who needs to feel that love.
Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
like
yeah,
you know, like okay, this is just I'm rewarding you on your resilience, on your fucking mental fucking aptitude to get back to where you are, right? You know what I mean? And Billy does that.
Yeah.
Brings you into camp. You're that far off, son.
Yeah.
You know, you keep doing this. You know, if he hadn't got injured, he'd been fucking neck to neck with Ponga, because Ponga wasn't playing that great of football. If he didn't get, neither was Walsh at the start of the year. But you know, he rewards people like that, and that's what makes you feel better. You come back to clubland, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm not, it was just a decision in coaching. You want the hammer at fullback instead of Walsh. He thinks he's banged up a little bit because he's a bit of a, he is banged up now. So it's like one little injury, you could fuck the whole system up.
It's similar to what we said about the Panthers a couple of weeks ago too. This is a huge win for the Broncos with the Origin plays where they go, fuck, the boys got it done for us. We've got the bye after the Origin. Front load, like the next game after that's going to be big.
I hope to God that Madge learns what he did to South and goes, okay, Sam Burgess is busted. I think he deserves a rest. And this is Sam Burgess that obviously didn't play Origin or anything like that. Payne Haas is like really put in for you, like in the last sort of 4 weeks when he didn't have to play that quad injury, everything like that. His back's pretty fucked, backed up over, got those wins. You won 4 in a row now. So I think because of the Willison factor, because of these young bucks coming through and doing a job, Core and all those guys getting their job done. I thought Jordan Ricky played probably his best game I've seen for a while.
Yeah.
He defends really good, but he got involved with attack.
Yeah.
He's fucking running hard. You need that kid doing that because I'm sick of him being just used for kick chasing and all that sort of stuff because he can play.
Him and Katoni have had a really good month.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I like what
they're playing their best.
I really like what they're doing. Billy Walters is changing, fucking doing shit coming off the bench.
Well, credit to a huge rap to Billy Walters. 100 games. He's copped a shitload over the last couple of years with the nepotism stuff with Kevy, and it would have been a really tough situation for Billy to go through with his old man getting the punt and all the question marks of whether, Madge and credit to Madge as well, like just because, his old man's no longer there. Madge didn't hold that against him. Clearly, he's made him earn. And whenever he's had huge moments in the last month for these victories.
40-20s here and there, like a couple of little line breaks, set up tries. And he's been really good, mate.
Yeah.
And he's not getting picked because he's Kevy Walter's son. He's getting picked because he's playing a really good brand of football.
Yeah.
So when Ben Hunt comes back, as I said before, that Pakes and Billy Walters, one of them got to go.
I reckon unfortunately, it'll be Pakes.
That's what I'm saying, because he started off good, but now I'm like, Billy Walters going, okay, I'm making more of a difference off the bench. Ben Hunt's a starter.
Yep.
Billy's like, he can come on and fix, he can play in the
versatility.
backs. More versatile.
Yep.
I think he's very beloved within that playing group, Billy Walters.
Yep.
He is. If he's anything like his father, because Kevy's very beloved and very respected and just fucking funny human.
Yeah.
And people love Kevy. And that's why probably the fallout is
For
like
sure.
that for Kevy. If Kevy was a shit bloke, no one would have cared.
Yeah.
But Kevy is one of the nicest blokes, greatest blokes I've ever met, even in my career. Always met Kevy, Aussie teams, and even at the Knights, they brought him up there. Just fucking great human.
You can tell the way they rally around Billy.
That's why
they like him.
They rally around Kevy, because he's been through so much shit off the field and everything. Like, I'm not going to even dive into that, but like, he's a great human, and that's why, if he wasn't, there wouldn't be that much outcry.
No, there's definitely love for the
So,
Walker
and
family.
I think they got a lot of love for Billy as well. So I'm glad to see him play some really good football and hold his own.
Not as much love for Ezra Mam. The booing continues, and the Bulldogs let him know it.
If he was ever going to get booed at a club,
It was going to be the Bulldogs.
because I honestly thought that it was done.
Yeah.
And then and I went, who are they booing? I was like, oh, fucking Ezra.
Yeah.
Of course they were.
He flipped the script though. He used it as motivation. He went on a bit of a run. Look, it's because I watched this game back. I was so tired from HYROX that I watched the first sort of 20 or 30 minutes, and I thought, obviously, I thought the Bulldogs were going to roll them. So I went to bed and woke up and seen the result in the next morning, and then watched it back the next day. And it's some, like, when you have games like this, it's cool to watch it back. It's almost more fun to watch it back because you get to see, like, oh, where did it all start to unravel?
Well, I didn't watch I was at a sports luncheon, right? So I only saw little bits. We're up 18-0. I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 because I was with the Broncos supporting it. And then next minute, I was watching little bits on KO, and then I was like, we got beat 22-18. How? So then you go back, and I watched all the games yesterday, and I was like, fuck, when did it go wrong?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. When you do watch it back, and you know that they've 18-0 up, and then you go, where the fuck did we lose this? 20 minutes to go.
Did you see the moment? I think it was maybe just before or after halftime. I think he gave away a penalty for an illegal tackle of some sort, and they because it was him who got penalised, he came up on the big screen and he had just a little smirk. He had a little smirk to himself, and I was like, Ezra. Because they're all booing him. All the fans were booing him. And it cut to him, and he looked like he's seen himself on the big screen, and he just had this little smirk. And I was like, ooh, because you know the result, you're like, and you know that I'd seen all the stats that he had, 3 try assists. You're like, oh, this is where he must turn it on. It ended up taking a little bit later on, and like I said, the Bulldogs really helped him with a couple of really bad options and on the left edge, and some really bad. That double shape that they did, I haven't seen that since the Roosters 2013-2014 team. That's an old variation.
Great shape.
Works well
when you got the players.
People, I reckon this is the reason people stopped doing it. Obstruction.
Yeah, because they weren't running the right lines.
Well, no. So because so many players used to dive, now the video referees.
No, but players weren't running the right line as well. They were trying to run on outside shot. Now they know that they break on the in and they break on the out.
But also, I think this is the key point. Because there's more accountability on players not diving anymore, it's making a comeback. Yeah. So now the video referees are looking and going, because people would still sort of run the similar lines, but then someone would pretend to get clipped and then hit the deck. Now that the video referees are putting more onus on the defenders to make sure that they get off a read and then go make the next move, I think it might make a comeback, the double shape. It would. Double for double.
Well, if you have a look at it,
2 from 2 they were.
Kura scored that try.
Yep.
Very easily, just running hard on inside shoulders.
Hoyt scored it the try before. Same shape, just different ball runner.
Running hard.
Yeah.
They ran hard, and it's just like you got to put your body in front.
He's a good dude too, Deloise. I've seen him a couple of times for some Broncos stuff. He's a bit of a journeyman, been around for a while. So
I like seeing things like that.
Yeah.
If any injuries come up, he'll be a good replacement.
All right, let's get to elephant in the room, and we've talked about it last week, and I was pretty critical of the whole situation. I want to just start with, I'm a huge Lockie Galvin fan, and he knows, the club knows, he's under the blowtorch at the moment, and everything is going to be critiqued. So the big thing for me is not giving him any more ammunition, right? This is from an outsider looking in with no relationship with him. He needs to be better on his body language. So when you watch it back, there's so many things that you can see, right? Like I said, for good things for the Broncos, I was like, oh, that's a moment where, that was a big effort. They come up with a moment. You can also see some things for the Bulldogs where you're like, he needs to be better there. So he had a couple of poor options. They clearly don't have the combinations working yet because it's the first time. And I don't know whether Cam's going to persist with it or not. But the first time we've seen the left edge of Lockie playing 6, Birdo moving out to left centres because Critter was missing and they moved Bronson Xerri over there. But he had a couple of passes where they weren't on the same page and his body language was really poor, and he's a young kid, and those are your OG, like those are the OGs, those are the co-captains at times for the Bulldogs. You got to be better, mate, because you can't strop and fucking throw your hands in the air, and in part it's it's a bit of a 50-50 in terms of who was at fault on the plays. But I don't care if you're 100%.
Doesn't matter.
Those are your OGs, and you've got to be better at it because everyone is watching you right now.
Next play mentality.
And that's what the Bulldogs have prided themselves on, right? So when everyone is waiting for you to fail, you can't give them another reason outside of the error to make it even worse by
I agree.
Poor body language. So that's what something you need.
Passes here and there, and everyone's going, what's going to happen? I'm like, let's just wait till we get everybody on board after Origin, and this is what's going to happen right now. We get through Origin, everyone is available.
Yep.
That's when they'll make their decision. Right now, you just got to make do. We've lost a couple of games in a row. It's not that big a deal. It's not really affecting them that much. But now, like Reid Marnie's made his decision to go. Sexton's made his decision to go.
Yep.
And now we're going to get a full deck of cards with everybody available. And this is when they'll make the decision after this week.
I think this...
Probably not even leading into this week because of Origin. That week after...
Yeah.
That's when you'll get the real side to make a run into the semis.
I think this next 10-week period is the hardest coaching period of Ciro's career so far. And even more so than the first year and the first 10 weeks. Yeah. So he was, changing the culture there and, going through losses and whatever. But everyone gave him a pass because it was
building time
and it's a rebuild and playing with house money to a degree. This is like a huge period for Ciro's credentials.
This is like the window's there. The window's there. The premiership is available this year.
There's distractions there if you want it, and there's outside noise. And how he handles this period will be, I think, the making of Ciro.
And I think he'll handle it easily. He knows where he needs to get to. And the position that we're in now is a pretty good position. And just to get through Origin, and then he'll make his decision on who's going forward. And that's about it. And, you have a look at the second half. We just you can't drop that much ball in field position against a class side like
sloppy.
That. It's just sloppy, Like you got to play. We fell off our game plan with the high speed grinds, with the ball in place, and like getting out of our. We didn't do it for like 20, 30 minutes. You can't do that against good sides.
My biggest critique on Ciro, and you know how much we love him. Obviously, you got the relationship there. I know he's always had the ability, and the versatility goes back to the Panthers days. I feel like there's a little bit too much swapping and changing of late. You bring in a guy like Turpin because of players are out. Terps goes hard, but just the swapping of the edges with Montoya and Carraz. Like I feel like if you're gonna, because you're in a good position and you're gonna try a few different things. I don't think the weeks against the two most dangerous teams outside of the top four in the Broncos and the Panthers was the right time to try a few different, I don't know if he's trying it or that's going to be how it's going to be long term.
Yeah.
I just didn't think these were the weeks to do it. That's my only criticism of
probably thought he was playing with house money and, you're in a good position, equal first and everything like that, and just to see what happened. You got players out. We don't have a full deck of cards, right? We're not we don't have our proper side in. Yep. I don't think he's ever going to do it after we get through Origin. He just probably tried to test it out and see how it went.
Okay.
So it's probably a time where he probably thought he could.
Yep.
And he did. And he might not do it again.
Yep. As expected, Sexton signs with the well, not expected. He's moving on. That's the expectation. He's going to sign with the Catalan Dragons for a couple of years. Reid Marnie's off to the Cowboys. Toby Sexton, and again, people have been really sympathetic to his situation and talked about him and his. I guess, he looks to be the one that will eventually make way for Lachlan Galvin at sometimes. I think, him signing with the Catalan Dragons is also a reflection of the way that the NRL viewed him as well. It's where it's like, I think a lot of teams would have loved him. I think the price range mattered and who else they had within their squad. Like, dude, I don't think this is a reflection that maybe people don't view, at least right now, Toby Sexton is that sort of long-term half, similar to what the Bulldogs.
That's what I was seeing. I was surprised when Catalans, right? He's only like 26, right? 24? 24.
Potentially, yeah, mid-20s.
Like I thought an NRL team would have picked him up.
Yeah.
24, March 2001.
For sure. Like I would have thought 100% he would have like got picked up.
Yeah.
How long was the Catalans deal? Has it been announced?
Yeah, he'll be taken over from Luke Keary, who's coming back after just a year stint. It hasn't gone well for the Catalan Dragons.
Coach and everything,
Yeah, got rid of Steve McNamara.
They need the baguette back.
He's
Do you reckon it's a play where he's sort of just going, all right, just let me remove myself completely from this, probably get a good contract over there, come back maybe a Perth or a PNG?
Potentially,
maybe,
yeah. Potentially. Like his NRL career is not over and he's still got the rest of the season, could finish in the best possible way. I think for both of these guys, with all the pressure they've been under because of the Lachlan Galvin situation, I think this could just settle them too as well. Like I've said this a number of times, like when you actually get your contract done, I played better because then I had that security sorted. Now, these two guys now have got, know where they're going to be next year, and then they can just, almost play a little bit more carefree this season. Just enjoy the last
Not playing for a contract. You got your contract. Everything's settled.
Enjoy the ride.
Let's just like try and win a comp now.
Yeah.
With the game in Homebush that night, the boys were at HYROX, got a little let's go, Lucky.
Yeah. Seen Reedy and Mudders Curran. Big couple of weeks coming up for your Bulldogs, mate. Huge. Like I said, I think this is going to be not a make or break, but this is going to be when they look back on Ciro. I think he's got a long coaching career. This will be like, this is a huge moment for his career. Yeah, and how he handles all these situations.
Yeah, we don't want to fucking get to a prelim.
No,
I know that for a fact. Yeah. We don't want to get to a prelim and fuck up like we did last year.
Yeah,
we want to get to a grand final and contest for that.
Yeah,
that's the goals this year.
Sorry to keep going, but do you reckon it feels like the club are looking at it, like you don't have to, you can remove yourself from it, but like the club are looking at this season as like house money?
No way. No way. No fucking way.
No, because
they are looking at getting
there was frustration from last year's finals defeat to Manly. They realised that I reckon going into the season, they realised they're fast-tracked and you can speak on this, Mace, probably exceeded expectations early in the year. Now it's like, all right, fuck, we got the team.
This is exactly how they're feeling.
Yeah.
They're not looking at a prelim and bow out or the semi, whatever the one of these before that. They're like prelim, grand final and fucking win. It's there now.
And the comp's up for grabs.
Winning is now. It ain't fucking, let's just go one more step and get to a prelim. It's like fucking, no, prelim, win that, get to a grand final, and then we go. Like the window's there now. The game is up for grabs. There's about 4 or 5 teams that can win this, and we're one of them.
Another team that can win it is the Raiders. They defeated the Dragons 28-24. That second try from KO Weeks.
Jesus.
That was like Hayne playing. that was 09, 2010. I remember it was actually
beautiful.
2009 was Haines's Dalian year. 2010, he had that kick return against the Panthers, remember?
Yeah.
Remember that one? Ev gave me that vibes. It was so good, and he beat multiple defenders. He is a proper X factor.
Where did that kid come from?
Manly.
Oh, was he the young kid at Manly?
Yep.
It's like he's bulked up and just got quicker and faster and just stronger and way better.
Just confident. Just credit to Sticky. At the start of the year, I thought he was under the pump. He was dropping
big time.
Kept on dropping the ball, and even when he didn't drop the ball, like and it be an error, he
wasn't near the ball.
He didn't look confident at all. Now he's found his groove. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, when everyone else is sort of like just falling off a little bit, he's doing the opposite. He's trending up.
That kid's a problem.
He can be a problem.
KO Weeks is the closest thing to Tuivasa-Sheck.
Yeah.
I renege on the other bloke. I'm putting
ISAIYA Yongi.
Yeah, KO. He's strong. He's fast. He's fucking good skills. He's over everything. Good defensive player.
Yeah.
Confident as hell at the moment. So it's like, wow, he's a proper problem. They've got X factors all over the joint.
All over. Especially if they can get, I know Sticks young fella's doing a good job at the moment, Jed Stewart, but I think in order to win big games, the yardage carries from Savelio to Male are going to be required. Yeah, so I don't know what exactly. I think he's a chance of making it back before the finals, but if he's able to make it back, just that back five.
Big man, big strong human.
I think people were starting to worry a little bit about the Raiders because of the results, like sort of blown some second half leads and still getting the job done, but against teams that are probably a little bit underwhelming in the Dragons, Tigers, and even the Knights. But I'm not worried at all. I think the part that I do worry about is they got a really soft draw going into the finals, and you know what it's like, Mace. You sort of want to be battle hardened going into.
You want to have Melbourne around there, or
they've got a Penrith. They've got a Dolphins in the last round, but Sticky's come out and said that he could be resting players in that last round.
Depending on...
Yeah, if they've got top two locked up. Yeah, so...
I don't think it really matters the soft run in anymore. It's a matter of getting up for those fucking plays because you know what level you need to get to when it's that first final, the prelim, the grand final. You know what you have to get to. So... The soft run in, I don't think it really phases them. They just need to win those games and not go down to their level, which sometimes the Raiders are susceptible to doing, right?
Yeah, it's just a younger player. Like they've got a young group.
Win.
Yeah,
like that's all they want to do is win. The Dragons aren't shit. They come to play.
Yeah,
they come to play. They nearly got.
They fought hard.
Yeah, they fought really hard. They were all right. Like the Raiders just a little bit a step above.
Yeah. The part that I love about Sticks too, and it's refreshing, he talked about Fogarty and the freedom to kick. Apparently, like he was saying in the press, and we'll get to another part of the press with Flano, and Sticky sticking up for his mate Flano and what Kyle's been going through recently. But he also talked about in the presser Jamal Fogarty and his kicking. So apparently, like Sticky was the OG with the torpies and all that, right? He was an innovator. He reckons Fogarty was practicing kicking, but he wasn't doing it in the games with the torpy kicks. He goes, stop practicing. If you're not going to do it in the game, stop practicing. So now he understands that there's room for error with positionally for it, but he wants particularly Fogarty to express himself with his kicking.
50
which is
out. Put it up. Mate, he put a couple of screamers up there. And his end over end is, like he's probably got one of the best end over ends with Burton.
Yep, agreed.
He'll put like 4 or 5 seconds on that hang time. But those torpies, when he put them up there, even Gutho had no idea where one of those were. Yeah. And he's one of the best.
He's good
of all time.
He moves his feet really well, Gutho.
He fucking went, nah, don't know where that is.
Yeah. Had a pretty tense presser moment here, so I'll get it up.
I saw a little bits of this.
Have you seen Flano's one?
I saw the Flano one, yeah.
Yep. So, the question was asked around the booing from, I believe it's like a Raiders beat writer, like it might be one of the local media.
Yeah, was she saying something about...
She asked Flano about the booing of Kyle when he was kicking a goal, and I guess it was around all the negativity there's been copping on social media because of that the fan who's been hammering him of late. And mate, he was so tense and like furious.
Flano or Stick?
Flano to begin with.
I didn't see the Flano one. I just saw Stick. I saw Stick sticking up for...
Stick must have watched it. He must have been in the room, heard the question and watched it.
Okay.
And then sort of fired back at the chick who'd asked the question. And to be fair, she held her ground as well and was...
she didn't ever write anything like that. That's what I heard.
No, yeah. It wasn't... It was more... I think she's sort of innocent in the sense where it's like... Oh, like
because Sticky said all you media, plural.
Yeah. So I'll show you the first bit. This will give you some context for it. And I've got the timed it. You see the double look?
Yeah.
It's like who is that?
Angry. Woo! Can you feel the tension? Can you feel the tension in the air?
Furious, eh?
See him twitching a little.
Yeah.
Killed someone.
He's on tilt. Mate, and credit to Sticks coming in.
And then he's sitting like, hey, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
Flano, Jesus.
Man, I poke fun a little bit and have some fun with these, but man, like credit to that Sheila, like for So she asked that she asked the question around the booing and like she's alluding to what's been happening, but also Stick must have just been sitting up the back waiting for like just to see if anything was brought up, and then he sort of has his little.
That's the one I saw.
Did you see the full?
I saw that one. Yeah,
the full bit with Stick. So, and Sticks even said it himself. He's like, his biggest fear now with playing Jed is in fact that, you know, all the pressure that's going to come with it. So not only was he sticking up for his good mate Flano, and he said he's, you know, Kyle's obviously a family friend because the years that they were assisting.
He's known Flano since he was a young little kid.
When Stick was at the Roosters, Flano was his Premier League and assistant coach then when I was in SG Ball in the 20s. Yeah, so they've known each other. Like they've been best mates for years. As well. So, yeah, I love that from Sticks.
Flano used to come in on Origin and everything. Like, I've known Flano for ages, Shane Flano. He's a good man. And you could see, like, I mean, I could just only imagine, just say, if my boy played first grade and I saw some of the fucking media.
Fully understand
it, mate. And that's where Sticky come in and stood up for him. And like, it's a different level because none of these journos have kids playing at a high level in anything. You know, so they'll never understand. I'm not saying I'm having a crack at journos, but they'll never understand because their son or their daughter or anything, you know, like even if you got a journalist, you're a journo and you got a journo son coming through, right? He's not going to cop shit. Who cares? He's a journo. But if you've got a son playing in a sport where you can get critiqued and everything like that, and he's not fucking, you know, like he's not a world beater, he's not the best player in the whole world or anything like. He's not fucking, you know, Nathan Cleary. Yeah, you know, you're not going to cop that. You might be, like Flano.
Ivan and Nathan have made it harder for players with family and the coaching situation for players, right? Because he's so good.
He's never going to cop shit. But, like, you know, I can see where I love Sticky sticking up for his mates. He's a very loyal man. And, you know, he's got his son playing there. He's playing some good football. But, like, Kyle cops a shitload.
I watched the game.
From those fucking fans, from St. George fans. They're as bad as, like, the Bulldogs fans if they go at you. But even when Flano was with us, he fucking copped a shitload, mate. But his dad wasn't
the coach.
Yeah, it's different. So you had Baz and you had Ciro and you're like, you know, like they're not going to really stick up for you that much and as personal as that. They don't take it as personal. They're like, okay, we just need to get better, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But like they're relentless, the Dragons fans with Flano. And I don't think he's honestly playing that bad.
I watched him closely. And I reckon Flano is the perfect reflection of the team right now. He had a couple of errors. He had a couple of moments he'd love to have back. He's clearly feeling the punch, the pump, like he's feeling the pinch. And he can have some moments where you're like they're going to come after him or you'd love to have that back. But he stays in the fight. And credit to him, like at the end there, not only the try, but just continually competing, especially when it looked like it was going to be a blowout. So you've got to give him credit for that. And I don't know, when you're a Dragons fan, that's probably not good enough because when you're a Dragons fan, you want to win, right? Like you don't care about staying. We can look at it diplomatically or we can look at it with...
And go, you're never going to win this.
No investment and like you probably don't have the team to beat the Raiders right now. But... when you're a fan, you probably have like your expectations.
And they just sit there and try and blame Flano for everything. Yeah. It's a bit much. I mean, like sometimes if Flano's out there kicking the ball out in the full, not getting you to the right spots and not digging into the line and not doing this, and like so many factors that a halfback has to do. If he's not doing any of those, then I understand where the fans are going to really turn on you. But he's doing his best.
Competing.
You know, he's competing, he's kicking, he's kick chasing, he's trying in defence, he's doing all these little things where it's like, you know, he's not Nathan Cleary. He's not ISAIYA KATOA. He's not built from that. He's not that guy, right? He fucking rips in, he tries his best. You know, like it's not like he's out there not even competing at all. He's competing. He just hasn't got the talent to those blokes. Don't worry about that.
Let's go to... just like the Dragons just can't, they're not the team that can afford to miss. The forward pass to Sloan was a tough call early on.
That was bad.
And who knows? Like they lose by a try, but also at the start with momentum, you don't know how the game's going to go after that.
People trying to blame that, trying to say.
Flano was furious. He was also furious about the question and obviously feeling the pinch around Kyle, but also like obviously with that particular try. There's also been rumoured that Sony could be on the way. I think the Panthers will be good for him. It's been reported that the Panthers...
Standing.
Yeah. I think Sloan going to Panthers is like almost...
What are you going to do with Milky Jenkins, bro?
That's what I'm worried about.
That's all I'm worried about.
I'm worried about my man Milky.
That's all I'm worried about is the milkman.
No, I think just even getting there, it could be similar to a guy like Dane Laurie, right? Where Dane Laurie was sort of in and out of first grade, and he's not guaranteed anything at Penrith, but great cover, can come and do a job.
And then just McLean on that left edge.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous little thing.
And then you've got, if something was to happen, I reckon if he decided to go to the Super League, he'd be a franchise player over there and be.
Yeah, I wouldn't be going anywhere. Player. I'll be staying here, Sloaney, because he's got so much to offer. Needs to pick the right team.
Yep, let's go. Storm 26 defeat the Cowboys 20. I was like watching Jerome closely in this game, especially when Pappy got ruled out last minute. Sometimes I feel like he relishes these moments. Like it's not like he wants to play and do it all by himself and try to win a comp all by himself. But I think Jerome over the years during Origin period has really relished when he gets to control the team fully. Without Cam in the team and Harry, because he can do it. The team does exactly what he does, and he's so on ball, even more so that I think he really enjoys those moments.
Sorry, Nick Meaney was nearly my OG of the week.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot I was going to put him in. Yeah. I actually forgot. He played outstanding.
Yeah.
But back to Jerome Hughes, he's the fucking man. I love it when those guys are out. And I think Belly loves it as well because it just gives him the whole opportunity to sort of just do what you want. You know he's going to get the win for you somehow. He competes on everything. He just tests everything out. And then he makes all the other guys like the Nick Meanies, gives them all a nice ball and he's complete, mate. He's a complete half. I just can't even imagine him being fullback for the Titans or the Cowboys and giving him a couple of runs at the back there.
He's the new hybrid example that everyone's trying to copy in the NRL.
Fucking good luck.
That Nick Meaney, geez, he does a good job wherever he plays. He's such an important player for this team.
Yeah.
He's and I reckon he's a better goal kicker than Pappy too.
Yeah.
I reckon he was
I'll take it off Pappy anyway because he's soft tissue injuries and lower leg injuries.
Yeah, I don't know what the latest. I don't know can you have a look and see why he was a late scratching in this one? I know he's sort of it looks like obviously his knee's been strapped up recently. And
so did Meaney go to fullback?
Yep.
Yeah,
fullback.
He was outstanding.
Yeah,
outstanding. Some of those tries he was hitting holes everywhere.
Calf tightness.
There you go. So Nick Meaney will most likely kick for the rest of the season.
Well,
because he was the kicker at the start of the year. Yeah. Then he fractured his jaw, or he broke his jaw in that Nelson hit. And
that's right.
And then, when he come back, Pappy was kicking so well that he just kept the duties. But I think it'll be Nick Meaney to finish off the season. Also, shout out to Siwa Langi Tui Malatu Brown. Apologies if I got that pronunciation wrong. He made his debut for the Melbourne Storm on the wing, and he is another representation of the Melbourne junior system. So,
well done.
It's a nice moment. He was solid.
It's happening.
Yeah.
It's happening down there. There's a lot of Polynesians down there at the moment, and they've got a really good pathways for those people. They've put a lot of money into the Melbourne pathways.
Starting to pay off.
There's a lot of brothers down there. So we're not built for AFL.
No. Polynesians?
Polynesians aren't built for AFL. So rugby league's the best down there. There's union down there, obviously, but there's a lot of families down there. So, I think the next 10 years they're going to be starting breeding some decent players, especially if they come through that Melbourne Storm system. I think they'll probably have one of the best pathways in 10 years.
One of those big players that's been in the system for a while. Nas is a little bit of funny watch of late.
He is, isn't he?
I don't know if it's just maturity, he's just got to the point in his career now where he's avoiding it, or Bally's said something. He very rarely gets involved in any scuffles on that anymore.
No, in fact, kill everyone.
Yeah.
Because I think he knows, once he crosses that, is it threshold?
Is it thresh or fresh?
It is thresh.
It's thresh with a T.
I'm not confident given this year's pronunciation
No, it's threshold.
It's Google.
So it's definitely not threshold.
Yeah, it's not threshold.
It's threshold. Because if he passes that, he fucking near loses his shit.
Yeah.
And you can really throw him off the game. So he understands when it's like that. You see him breathe a lot, right?
Yeah.
He's really controlling his breathing and he just walks away.
Yeah.
Walks away. And that's maturity, right? Because you saw what happened in Bali, boys. You know what's going on? See, just look at his Bali YouTube little fucking clip and then you'll be running away. So I think that's maturity, and he knows what sort of impact he can have in the game. And when he gets in trouble, he can get suspended for a while. He hasn't got a good record. So he just needs to toe the line. Be aggressive, but not over the top. And I think he's found that balance.
For sure he has. Speaking of Barley.
Near unstoppable near the line.
Oh.
You just got to get him in the right position.
They crossed the belly, and I know it's for a good cause because they're raising some money but Belly still doesn't like the Try July stuff. It's not his go.
It's very basic tryout celebrations from Melbourne. It was just like.
Speaking of Barley, this guy's got a bit of a Barley dog's body.
Barley dog.
Jackson Purdue, but fuck his goal, mate. He is a goer. Like
he cooked Chan. He cooked him.
I know
but Channy got it back, but like. He's so quick, and Channy's a back rower, but he did well. But like, god damn, he's fast. He's a little in and away.
I've said it before. He gives me like, he's a bit of a throwback to like when Jack Whiten sort of hit the scene, and he was
skinny little fast, strong little fella.
And Jackie Boy was probably bigger than him at this age, but still like there's some similarities there. I don't know what his best position is
because Jack was playing fullback at the start. Yeah, remember, for years. Like
did he start on the wing too, though?
Maybe.
I think he's on the wing to begin with.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
And then he went to fullback, and then he went to centres and 5'8", and it's like you could play Jackson Purdue
Jackson
anywhere
and fullback. You play fullback easy. I think his position is fullback, but Drinky's playing so well.
Yeah,
that's probably making Drinky play well.
Yeah, true. Drinky's having a good season.
He had a real shit year last year, or the year before.
Yep.
If this Purdue was there, he would have probably played fullback. I like him. Is he a centre? Is he a 5'8"? I'd probably lead him in the centres for a while.
Yeah, I think so. Because Clifford,
he's not much of a ball player.
Every time Clifford plays, he plays well. We played well again in this game.
Yeah. They're just lacking origin players.
Yeah.
Ruben Cotter.
In 2020, they'll be better for this next year. And because like we talked about Marnie going up there, Robson's a better player, but Marnie is not a significant downgrade. And also like you're probably going to get a better price for him as well, where you can make sure you retain some of these good young players like Jackson Purdue.
Yeah, there's no like I wouldn't be sitting here going Robson's way better than Reid Marnie.
No.
Nowhere near it.
Not way better. He's better.
It's just like he's probably a little bit of a better defender.
Yeah.
Because he can whack blokes. Where Reid Marnie's defence has picked up a lot. He's passing from dummy half is like 10 out of 10 both ways. Same as Robson, but he probably I reckon he can create a little bit more out of 9 than Robson. Robson's more of a just stand and deliver.
I didn't. So obviously, calling this game yesterday, I wasn't able to do the notes, but we'll go over these games as well. Shout out to Benji and the Tigers. What a win under all the circumstances, everything he's been going through. We got a glimpse into the potential of Latu Fainu. How good was it to see all Fainu brothers score as well too, by the way. Last week they had a cool moment where they were the first set of brothers, or 3 brothers, to play against another 3 brothers in the Travojeviches since the Burgess went up against the Matautis. And this week, they all crossed for a try each in a fucking huge underdog win. I know the Roosters were missing a whole bunch of players as well, but they were also missing players against Cronulla and pumped them.
Yeah.
They just played with a different energy that you hadn't seen from the Tigers this year, and then the Roosters just welcomed into the game with unforced errors.
Yeah, like the game that they played against Manly last week I was just thinking they're fucking going to get the wooden spoon. This week they looked outstanding. I don't know what it was. What is it? Latu Fainu was like making line breaks everywhere. The other back row, the other guy was putting hits on. It was just like they looked totally different.
I ran into Benji. I told
what was it?
Lukey. I ran into Benji at the zoo last week because we ended up going to.
No, you didn't tell me.
Oh, didn't I?
No.
Oh yeah, so I ran into
Dubbo?
Benji. No, we went to Taronga's because she had such a good time, and we come home early. Felt a little bit guilty that she wanted to. Like she was just loving being around the animals. So we went on Saturday as well. And I was walking into Taronga and ran into Benji and I was just like, fuck, mate, I was at the game last night. We caught it. And I said, look, you're going through a tough time. And he goes, yeah. He goes, the boys. I said, fuck, you still loving it? You love it? And he goes, I love it. He goes, I'm in it for the grind. Good. You know, like I'm in it for like this is, you know, he's in it for it's going to be a tough period. And you know, like I'm a pretty good reading body language. And you too, mate, right? You know, if you ask someone that question, you'd read the body language. You can tell it's genuine, and it's a tough time for him right now. He's doing his best. He's like a Tigers legend, and he wants the best for him, and he's doing everything he can. Good. And the players reflected that in their performance.
That yesterday's just changed my whole perspective on the Tigers. I was like, because the weekend before against Manly, I was like,
awful.
That was a terrible. You know, I didn't expect him to beat Manly, but I didn't expect him to just be so fucking boring in their play when they've got so many players that can actually play. I think he just let it go. Boys, get out there and have some fun.
Well, you know what he figured out? You know what he figured out? So Jerome went down before the game, and I obviously didn't speak in detail, but just watching the game. When Jerome went down, like a captain's run or 24 hours before the game last week, he had to shift Appy from hooker to 5'8". He had Talon Silva play hooker, who was always going to be leaving. Like everyone knew he was going to go.
Yeah, and he had fucking and we saw it with Talon Silva. It was like, fuck, you already had half your bag packed in the sheds.
It felt like his mind was elsewhere for sure.
Definitely elsewhere.
And then Heath Mason, who has been playing in multiple positions for him this year, he sort of gets thrust and changed in position. And they had injuries to Appy, and then it was a blessing in disguise because they got a glimpse into Adam Dewey playing there.
Loved it.
And he took that form, and I don't know.
Bolle, outstanding. May, outstanding. That's
Bolle's second stint.
Yeah, because they were awful against Manly. And this is their first stint. They fucking really took it to them. Showed that ascendancy in the middle. You need that ascendancy in the middle.
Yeah.
And Terrell May probably played his best game in the last month.
Yep.
And Bolle has been outstanding because I think Terrell's missed Bolle because he's fucking strong, man.
We forgot to talk about the storyline of Terrell May. Like the Roosters game, this is always going to be a big game for him.
And a fucking, exactly.
Yeah.
And I didn't even think about it. And I'm like, all he would have been thinking about this year was, I can't wait to play for the Roosters. Play against the Roosters and show them.
Yeah.
And I totally took that out of in my head when I was picking this team. But I just thought the Roosters still would have had enough.
Yeah. Well, they scored 5 tries to 4 as well. They kicked a few penalty goals. There's a couple of really rough calls against the Roosters with regards to penalties. But to be fair, they didn't deserve it because they were sloppy as well. The unforced errors they had. I think early on in the game, this young team has even surprised themselves, I think, at times. And they've probably progressed to the point now where they played so well in these bye rounds, in and around, missing their origin players, that they maybe just expected that they would have watched that video. It would have been hard for them to watch that video last week of the Tigers.
Out of the 8 with that. They would have been on 22, equal with the Broncos. Mate,
that performance from the Tigers was so bad against Manly that you were just being going, it's a false sense of security.
And scoring first,
going,
it's going to be easy. You know what I mean?
No, they didn't score first. No. They were down 20-0.
Who?
The Roosters. Yeah, they were down 20-0 in this game before they got some rhythm.
Then Tupou scored.
They nearly scored. Yeah, so Tupou scored the first try to get him back. That was 5 minutes before halftime.
Shit.
But they nearly scored in their very first set, but Rodwell got held up and it got sent back, and then the Tigers went on a run. So they weathered the storm early.
This is what happened when you go to a 6-year-old party. Arch had his 6-year-old party and watched it on KO. I'm just like, fucking hell.
Yeah, in and out. So, credit to Benji. Huge win. Fayunu brothers, what a cool moment. I thought.
Oh, that's right, because I wrote on a thing, I bet they still lose.
Yes.
Because it was 20-0, and I'm like, I'll bet the Roosters. And then Tupou scored, and I was thinking, it's coming back. They're coming back. They're coming back. And I'm like, fuck it.
They come back, and I'll tell you what.
They're not coming back.
Even though he's got a couple of errors in him, geez, Nwanga Nitawase is.
Fuck. That's when he scored those 2 tries, but just this. He must be so fucking strong. Obviously, he's Fijian, so he's like got that Fijian strength. But like just a shake, little flick, bang, bang off his right, and then fullback was there. Didn't even care. He just leant through him. Just went straight over top of him, ball, bang. And I was like, okay, now they're back.
You know what? Like a huge part of the reason I thought the Roosters.
Sorry, the game's coming back to me now.
Yeah,
don't worry.
A huge part of the reason I thought they were going to have a down year was because of missing the X factor moments like that try of Joseph Manu. And even Joseph Swali to a lesser degree. Yeah. Like Joey didn't really have those moments like Joey.
Yeah.
But that was like a Joey Manu type move.
That was.
2 of them.
Flick it, right
hold,
foot,
dummy
left
flick,
palm,
bang.
Boom, over. Exactly like what Joey Manu would do.
Yeah.
You add
That's high praise too.
You get Toya back there. You get Crichton back there. You get
Billy Smith was a late scratching.
Yeah, but you get Lindsay and Spencer.
Yeah.
Come on. As I said, they would have been spew and dropping this game because they would have been coming 6th outright.
Yep.
Because after the Broncos, and they would have been, fuck, and then we can go on a bit of a run.
They were making a run.
They'll make, But I think once they get through Origin, I'm not going to say they're going to win the comp or anything like that, but they will make a run for the 8.
Yeah, they're going to finish in that 5 to 8, and they're going to be a problem.
That will be a problem.
They're going to be annoying. They're a year away. I think some of the young players like Taylor Lasalu off the bench.
Really shit little
Forgetti.
Drop balls in positional play, bad
unforced errors.
And that's what happened to the Dogs. You cannot do that right now. And your benchies need to understand when you come on and do a job, you don't push passes. You just fucking got to catch ball, get to the game's quite boring if you're coming off the bench, right? Because you can't really you might have this skill set quite high, right? You can pass the ball, you can offload this, but you just can't when you're on the back foot coming out of yardage.
The bench was actually better.
Get to certain points, play the ball, get on kick chases. It's quite boring unless you get in good field position and then you can actually play football.
They couldn't get in the cycle.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So where you are on the field when you come off the bench, do your fucking job, support good, fucking get in there, a defensive hit hard, no offloads on you, find the ground, play the ball, get on kick chases. It's like that.
I watched Teddy on the third unforced error. So I think Savala went to go put a kick in. He might have dropped one or Sandon, and then maybe an outside back had an error. And when Nafahu White, who's been their best middle, when he just dropped a cold out of nowhere, I looked at Teddy because Teddy was right behind, and he's like, it's going to be one of those games. Yeah,
because it was coming. It was 30 meters out. Yeah, and he's been their best, and that's just it's happened to all of us, right? Yeah. You just drop those ones that are just cold, and that's just simply just taking your eye off the ball for a split second, trying to think I'm going to get there, and oh shit, you know what I mean?
And it doesn't matter who you play in the competition if you don't give them the respect, and if you're fucking 10% off, you can get done in this comp.
Done easy.
You can get done by
a West Tigers who you think's the worst team in the comp. You know what I mean? Like West Tigers and Titans, probably the bottom two.
I would say the West Tigers and the Titans have been the most underwhelming team of the last month for sure. For sure.
And it's showing because they're probably going to finish really bad unless the Tigers make a bit of a run, which I doubt.
All right, the last game was the Manly Seagulls, and obviously I was making my way over to this game after I called this game, and then I was on the piss for the entire second half. So I'm going to require you to sort of help me out, and also just chatting to the old boys and that. But basically, a strong 13-plus win. This is what they needed. I loved that. Me good mate, Ches.
How was Old Boys Day anyway?
It was good. It was good.
How'd you go, mate?
Big night. Made a fool of myself. Spewed up at the bar.
That's why we started. Hey? That's why we started 8:30.
Yeah. No. 8:30 was for Kai to go to work, which was again that gave me an extra hour or two because I was going to go home at about 10. I was forced to go home when I was having tequila shots.
Tequila always gets you, eh?
Tequila gets me. I don't know why.
You got to drink the. Don't drink Don Julio, bro.
Shout out to Mick, the OG
security guard.
So Mick was.
You ever see the big guy on the security with the beard?
Yeah,
guys. He's always. Mick knows how to get on TV.
Yeah,
he's always on. He'll look after you. He was our security guard. What else? 2015. He was always my security guard. I said, I'm good, man.
He goes.
You can't control me.
He goes. I love the podcast. His first gig was when we're talking about Turbo's away trip. Albury.
That's where we started.
That was his first ever game.
That was my first and only year.
And he's been with them ever since. And he goes, I spewed up at the bar, and the bartender looks at me, and I was like, fucking blind.
Last night.
Yeah, last night. So we'd all gone. So it was like a function that we had together. And then it was like me, Ches, Jimmy Bureau, Ruben Garrick, Corey Waddell was a fucking giggle.
What's he?
We're talking about his Corey Eats and all that and his social media presence. And he was a good fellow anyway. I had a shot and I've just gone, mate, I would have drank 7 4 pints in the second half because you couldn't even put down a can and they'll just bring in and giving you more cans. Anyway, we're having fucking shots and I just go, bleh. Just spewed at the bar.
How many shots you have?
Only two.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Do you know what tequila you're drinking?
No way. I was fucking blind.
Good tequila, man.
And anyway, and it was just typical chat and Ches and all this stuff, and and fucking Siebes is there as well because they've got a buy now, so the whole crew
at 4 pints.
No, this is after. And I've just made a fucking mess of myself.
No, but was it at
Jimmy
4
Dimmick?
pints?
I was chatting to Jimmy Dimmick too, Sim Damocki. And we were talking about the potty and that, and he's talking about you. So it was good to chat to Jimmy. And then I've just gone. Mick's come up to me, he goes, "Let's go outside, big boy. Let's get you in an Uber." And I was going, "Yeah, I said, all right, sweet. And I just walked outside, sat at the front, got a kebab. He sat with me and told some stories with me why I got a kebab.
Was it like a Team America spew?
No, it was just it was only a little one. It was only a little one. Boom. So I was like,
you gave up on life, didn't you?
Anyway, back to the game. 13+ win, good victory. Ches has been holding that try celebration from last year because he didn't get to do it. So that was cool. And like we said at the start, Turbo. I think that's going to be him for the rest of the year. I think Centers is where he finish off.
Could be the rest of his career.
I don't want it to be.
You don't reckon? Do you think he's got this? You think he's got?
I've always said I want to see him just continue to play an extended amount of time on the field to get the runs and the confidence back.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up on fullback. I've always said I'm not giving up on Turbo playing fullback full time. I just wanted to see it for a window so he could get some juice back in the legs and get some confidence back.
And I just think Lehigh Hopewadi, I think it's going to make him a better player.
Yeah.
To try and keep Turbo at centre.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Like as I said, iron sharpens iron all the time. So I think if he can play at such a high level week in, week out, it will sort of force their hand to play Turbo at right side centre. And if Turbo can score a fucking try or set up and be in try involvements every single game, like that's what else do you want?
Yeah.
You take the meterage and you take the impact out of the hits all the time because Turbo doesn't shirk away from anything physical.
Yeah.
Right? He's going to get the ball. He don't give a fuck if it's like Victor Radley, Tino, Payne Haas. If he has to get to that spot, bang, he's going to run into it, right? Lehigh's a little bit smarter. Spaces, not faces. You'll find gaps and you'll find he's stronger than you think. He'll always find his front. And depending on what side he's at, and then Turbo might take the second or third hit up when he can skip across field, he can pass the ball. Like, I just think about Origin Turbo, right? I think of Origin Turbo and what he can do at his best. And I looked at the times when he got the ball yesterday and he didn't look like he was carrying an injury.
No.
He looked good. Strong.
Yeah.
He looked powerful and he looked like he could get off the mark quick without like 1, 2, 3. It was like 1, 2.
It didn't look like he had to think about it.
Yeah, no, it was natural.
Playing.
It was natural where at fullback, catch the ball, thinking,
hesitate,
like you got to find space and, you're trying to run around people. So you're going from 50, 60 to 100 real quick where he's getting the ball. And if they back off, he's going to score. And if the centre comes in, he passes. He's got the brains of a 6 or a 7 in a 6
really
foot,
good
in a 6 foot 5, 110 kilo body.
Yeah.
So there's your prototype centre anyway. Fast as hell, great defensively. Like he's going to look after their best centre. Their best centre didn't even look like getting the ball or getting around him at all. Forwards did their job. They look good. South made a little bit of a comeback with Tallis scoring. He's got a triple.
Yeah, got a double.
Double? Yeah.
So Tass got one at the end off a kickoff.
So it was just, they were never going to win. And I thought that they played pretty good, Manly.
Yeah.
Ches
I was
constructed
chatting to because Hopper was there as well at the Old Boys Day, and Hopper come and sat next to me. He was talking about the potty and stuff, and I was like, "Man, what's Lehigh's training like?" He goes, "Like he's just naturally always been like that.
He's got that Tongan strength.
Yeah, got that Tongan strength.
Got that horse strength.
Yeah, Toko strength.
Yeah, the big doggo strength. Because I think I saw, when they were doing the preseason, Manly had that preseason.
Yes."
And I
seen that too.
And I saw a little bit of a clip, and people going, "Why is Lehigh Hopewadi so strong?" And they showed little clips on it.
Shout out to our man Alfie.
Alfie, our boy Alfie.
He
showed him leading the way in every single thing that they did. They had like a 2-night camp all around Manly and the eastern suburbs, and they were staying overnight carrying logs and all that sort of shit. And he was the leader in all
leading the way, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Tolly Cole's a really good player.
Cole looked outstanding. When he come off that little bit of an inside ball and the left foot, the right foot, and then changing hands and he nearly got that try, I was like, that's a future rep play, man. He's just going to be behind a lot of really good centres. But if there's any injuries, you got Bradman Best, you got Kohler, Latrell's still there. He's got plenty. What's he, probably 22, 23?
Yeah, he'd be young.
He's got a lot of football left in him. I think he's Suoli'i's age.
This was being talked about when we went back to the function after the fact. Apparently, Wayne was filthy about the Matty Lodge.
Bad.
Was it bad? Was it? Because I need to see a replay.
I don't think Lodge meant it, but in You know, like it happened.
Yeah.
Watch it. Make a call on it and watch it because it's interesting.
Okay.
It's sort of just, he's a big boy, Lodgy, and he just sort of like fell and like, you know, you just got to, and the main thing is keeping your legs. You don't lose your hips.
I wonder if I can find it on.
And
I think Fox League posted it yesterday. I'm just trying to find
and
it.
the thing is, the rules are like if you drop your hips on a leg or anything, it's a penalty on 10 minutes in the bin.
Yeah.
You can't just
I think
you can't just do that.
I think there've been some overreactions on some of them, but
it's because he got injured.
Yeah, apparently this one was bad.
This guy's out for 4 to 6 weeks, right? So it's like I'm not sure who did he do it on.
NRL on 9. Ready? Can you say that?
Yeah.
Watch. See, I just.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's one of those ones
because it's not even his hip dropping on him.
No,
it's more of his upper body. It's just sloppy technique, right? So I'm not really going to go in on Lodge, and it's like he sort of like had him around the legs, sort of lost his legs, but then like his upper body more or less fell on him. Yeah, because he's fucking about $1.25, I think, Lodgy at the moment. Yeah, and who was it on?
Cheese. That's the sad thing. He's out 6 to 8 weeks.
Fuck, that's right. And
MCL,
first game back.
First game back, 6 to 8, done, pretty much season gone, and that's just unlucky. But like, I don't think it's a genuine hip drop where
because it's not the hips hitting the legs.
He
it's
fucking
sort of
lost. He lost position on his leg, and he slid down, and just sort of his upper body went on him. So it's like that sucked for Cheese. But I don't think they should throw the book at Lodgy.
Yeah,
it looks like they're calling it on the art of just like throwing your legs and just letting momentum.
I've always said the thing: you don't lose your legs.
Yeah.
If he kept on his feet, he just got to maneuver around, and it'd be like you'd probably get to the front and then try and drive him through. And I think Lodgy's been out of the game for a fair while.
ACL, 3 games back from ACL.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's been out of the game for a while when they're really dropping down on the hip drops. I don't think he was even playing. I think he was boxing or doing some shit like that, where the technique hasn't been taught. But it wasn't a good look, and it just sucks because Cheese has come back from a fucking ACL, and now he's out pretty much for the year.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for this week of the shortened round. We're back to full footy moving forward for the rest of the season. We've got Origin on Wednesday. We cannot wait. Make sure you're going out there. You're going to be doing some stuff with the Red Bull, Greg.
Oh, we'll be out there.
I will be calling it.
IPA events.
For SEA
Red
as well.
Bull. A few little things out there, you know.
All right. That's it for the show. Enjoy Origin, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.